against Florida State. As expected, it was a war until Lamar Thomas gathered in this Gino Tremenda pass. The winning margin, 19-16. From there, it was on as Dennis Erickson and Joe Paterno met at Penn State. Linebacker Jesse Armstead pressured John Sack into a wild throw. The defensive end Darren Grind gobbled up for the clincher, 17-14, and a return to the #1 spot in college football for the Hurricanes. Today, Pat Sullivan brings his TCU Horned Frogs to Miami, hoping that Leon Clay and Stephen Shipley can get a passing game going. While freshman linebacker Lenoy Jones will guide the revamped TCU defense geared at slowing down the Miami attack. It's the Frogs versus the Canes next on Sunshine Network. Sunshine Network proudly presents University of Miami Hurricane Football. Brought to you by Coors Light. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. And by the Olive Garden Italian restaurants, where all the best of Italy is yours. With two major victories under their belts, the Conquering Heroes return to the Orange Bowl in Miami. Today, the #1 ranked Miami Hurricanes will play host to the TCU Horned Frogs of the Southwest Conference. Hi, everybody. Sam Smith along with Nat Moore, the former receiving great for the Miami Dolphins, as we greet you, the Hurricane and the Horned Frog football today from Miami. When you take a look at Miami, once again climbing to the top of the poll, they've done it defensively, and this is a ball club that continues to get better.
Sam, this is a defense that thrives on big plays. In 5 ball games, they've got 14 takeaways. They're tied for second in the nation in scoring defense, and they've given up only 4 touchdowns all year.
Well, it's a team of stars on the defense, but 2 that really came up big against Penn State that helps win the game last week.
Defensive end Darren Crine last week versus Penn State sniffed out the screen, intercepted the ball, ran it in for a 28-yard touchdown that won the ball game. And Michael Barrow, the leading tackler for the Hurricanes, had 19 tackles. 14 of those were solo.
When you take a look at the numbers of the other players that are playing for the Canes defensively, they've got a lot of help to truly become one of the outstanding teams defensively in the country. Offensively, though, Gino Tremenda and company are struggling on the passing game. And that's one area they did not come up big in the Penn State game.
Well, Gino had a tough week last week, but you know, this is the first time since 1982 that the Hurricanes were held under 100 yards passing. But this week, Gino must come up big for them to have success.
When the passing game goes down, like most good football teams, something comes up and the running game appears to be coming back.
Well, last week, the Hurricane offense, for the first time, was able to run the football. The 2 fullbacks combined for 138 yards, where they've struggled all year.
Well, one of the big reasons is a 5th-year senior up front, Mario Cristobal, back in the lineup for the Canes, and he's a good one.
Well, he's a 5th-year senior that he's only been able to play in 2 ball games this year, but he is the leader of a very young but maturing offensive line.
Well, that's for Miami. Other side of the coin, Pat Sullivan and TCU come in without one of their best rushers in Derek Cullors, but they've got a combination of the passing game that could click some big numbers.
Number 12, Leon Clay. He has all of the tools, but for a 5th-year senior, he's only started 15 ball games. But if he's going to be successful today, he's got a weapon. Number 87, Stephen Shipley, who in the last 2 ball games have caught 12 balls for 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he must have a big day also.
Pat Sullivan says to execute well and don't make any mistakes and play hard defensively, and this is one of their best ones. He's just a freshman.
Well, this is a young guy that's 6'2", 185 pounds, number 18, Lenoy Jones. But he's got a nose for the football. He's very talented. He's the leader in tackles. He's got 6 sacks, and he must be a big factor today.
Well, we'll be watching from above the Orange Bowl. How about down inside the Orange Bowl? Let's go to Joe Rose and get his feeling before kickoff. Joe?
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. First of all, they're expecting a crowd of roughly 45 to 50,000 people today. The big concern for University of Miami, can't have another big letdown. They've got to have a big game today. They need to get everybody involved in their offense. On the TCU side, what they're looking for, they haven't played in front of a crowd of 50,000 in a long time. They've been getting crowds of roughly 20,000. They're going to use this to boost the team today, get used, and get to their next step.
Well, TCU, I know, is thinking about what Arizona almost did here against Miami 3 weeks ago. But Miami's coming off the emotional high. It's the Frogs and the Canes coming up next on Sunshine Network. full than normal. 77,000 here a couple of weeks ago for FSU. But today it's the TCU Horned Frogs against the Miami Hurricanes as we welcome you again back to Miami. As you take a look at the two coaches, Pat Sullivan here in his first year, Dennis Erickson in his fourth year for Miami. Sullivan was very candid. He said, we want to be where Miami is, and that's one of the best in the country.
Right, this is an opportunity for Pat Sullivan to bring his team in here and not only play the Hurricanes, but give them a chance to look at what Dennis Erickson has been able to do with this program, because that's where they want to go. That's what they're directed at in the next 4 or 5 years.
Sullivan, of course, is the 1971 Heisman Trophy winner. And it'll be TCU's chance to return to football. Anthony Hickman, number 2. And Andre Davis, number 24. Davis to the near side will be getting ready to field this kick. As Miami again won the toss but deferred and will be taking the wind that comes out of the east. There is Dane Pruitt. He is their field goal specialist. Big shoes to fill. Carlos Huerta, the All-American, doing everything here for Miami. But now Dane Pruitt is the man that'll be kicking it off. It'll be interesting to see what TCU can do offensively against that great defense Miami early on as the kick is underway, and we are too at the Orange Bowl in Miami. It'll be Davis at the 1. Gets a blocker at the 15, and then it just nailed off his feet. Coming up to make it is Marley, coming up to make the stop after a 16-yard return. As Rowan Marley decked it, and you get a good look at Clay. Clay again, very few starts, only 15, the senior from Gladewood. And he'll be running with this backfield behind him here for Clay again, chasing the legendary Sammy Ball. Jackson and Oglesby moved over from the fullback, will be in the backfield. Shipley, Oliver, and Nowak are the 5 receivers. We'll check their offensive line as they come out with double receivers to the left and the lone running back behind Clay. Clay back to throw the first pass of the game and throws over the intended receiver's head. That is Kyle McPherson. And Clay's first pass goes incomplete. Offensive line has had some problems with their injuries, in particular in the middle. Jody Morris, their center. But Black, Breedlove, Milby, and Robbins will be on the front line for TCU. Defensively, Crine, Riley, Caesar, and Patrick Goodwins on the front line for defense. And look at this linebacker core. Smith, Barrow, Armstead, the slowest being 4-6. We'll check the defensive backs on a 2nd down and 10 for TCU. Again, the ball just outside their own 16-yard line. Clay with trips to the left. A delay gives it right up the middle. This is Motkins, a fine runner to the 25. He has enough for the first down as he's powered under at the 29-yard line. A 13-yard gain, and one of the top 3 rushers in the history at TCU, number 4 all time, gets a quick opener right up the middle. Let's check those defensive backs for Miami before we go any further with TCU here. Sigler, Greer, C.J. Richardson, interesting enough, starting at one of the free safeties, and McNeil will be the other starter in the backfield for Miami. Good trap play that time for Clay. As you take a look at some of the numbers, he does have good numbers and throws that ball well. First down for the Horned Frogs. Clay back to throw. Good protection over the middle. He's got his man for a gain of 4 yards. And coming up with it is going to be Oliver. Jimmy Oliver, who passed up the spring to run in the track, and one of the fastest of the Frogs, listed at 4.4.
Well, here we have Oliver. He does a good job of going down 3 or 4 yards. He's trying to come underneath, giving the linebackers a chance to get good drops, and catches the ball. And as you can see, that very active defensive line, Patrick Riley comes off and makes the tackle.
A flag down, and there'll be a step off against TCU.
Offside. Defense. First down.
Thomas Thamert, by the way, will be our referee today. It is a split group in the Southwest Conference and the Big East. 4 from the Big East and 3 from the Southwest Conference as you get a good look at that Miami sideline. Emotionally, they have been drained a bit, to say the least, after 2 solid weeks against Florida State and Penn State. Dennis Erickson kind of playing on their minds a little bit, saying, fellas, if we can have a good, solid game, we don't have to worry about what Washington does. We can be solid, number 1 across the board. First down and 5. A step off against Miami, and there is Motkins again. You see a lot of action. Klein was the man at the bottom of the stack there. Greer comes up, as does Armstead. And Riley for Miami. But another gain just shy of a first down. They'll miss it by about 2 yards. 2nd down, and they'll need 2 here for TCU.
what they're doing here, Sam, is they're running that counter tray where they're starting the back one way and then cracking back, kicking out on the defensive end and the linebacker and turning it up. They had success earlier on that play, and they came back and they tried to run it again. Miami stopped up and stopped them for a 3-yard gain.
Great effort by David Breedlove, the offensive left guard. Even though he was on all fours, he was still crawling to make a block. Second down, 2 for the Horned Frogs. Play, back to throw. Pressure on. He dumps it off, incomplete. Mike Nowak, normally a sure-handed receiver, just couldn't hold on to that one for Clay as he was being flushed out of the pocket. Kevin Patrick, number 86, was making the rush.
Well, Kevin Patrick is the leading sack guy on the Hurricane football team with 5. And as always, he's in the quarterback space. He's applying pressure. But you have to give Leon Clay credit here because he does a good job of just lofting the ball. And that's a ball that should have been caught. Nowak has to come down with those type of receptions if they're going to be successful today.
Third down and 2. Just a little defense of Nowak. As you see the shadows there, he was looking directly back into the sun and try to catch that pass from Clay, but again, a catchable ball. Third down play, TCU. Just underway, first quarter. Clay back to throw, backside pressure, incomplete pattern in the air. Oliver had his hands on it just as you did. Greer nailed him from behind. Armstead was there as well, and it's a 4th down and punt time for TCU.
Here we got the Hurricanes in a blitz. They're coming after him. Armstead getting pressure on, and then Casey Greer comes up and make a good hit just as the ball is arriving.
Jonathan Harris will be doing the returns today for Miami. Normally, Kevin Williams is back there, but Harris will be looking into the sun, and kicking the ball will be Kevin Coatsman from Round Rock, Texas. A little inconsistency in his punch, but he booms a beauty out of here. Harris back, retreating back to his 19. Gives room to gain a yard, and that's going to be all. And the first man to get on top of him, number 42, is Sad Jackson. Well, Gino Torretta, under 100 yards, only 80 against Penn State. We'll come in to see if this senior from California can get things going. And he'll have these people behind him and flanking out to try to do it. Bennett, the sophomore, at the fullback. Spencer starting at tailback. Thomas, Copeland, and Bell, part of the ruthless posse, will be in the receiving corps. We'll check the down lineman in a moment. 1st and 10 Miami. Ball at their own 21. No score. 12:46 to go. First quarter from the Orange Bowl. Torretta with Bennett behind him. The first goal goes to Bennett. Bennett trying to run over the left side. And we've noticed they've already made a change on the offense for Miami in the fact that number 74, Diego London, is starting on the front line. And you see they'll be making that change with London at the weak side guard along with Etheridge, a converted tight end. Cristobal, Vickers, and Green will round out. Defensive line for TCU. Pryor, West, Brooks, and Bolden. Look for Bolden to be a big one today. And we mentioned Jones leading the linebackers. We'll check those in a moment. Second down, 8 yards to go after a gain of 2 by Bennett. Torretta, good pocket, rolls out of this, throws for Harris, incomplete. Going to the near sideline and plenty of room to run, but just couldn't come up with it. As the coverage was there by Jones, who made the drop. And Jones, one of the 3 linebackers, a freshman. Brad Smith and Moulton, these are 3 of their top tacklers for TCU. The secondary, they have moved Ryan, who has been a free safety, to the corner to join Wesley. That's good ones. Evans and a true freshman by the name of David King be starting at the free safety, and that's going to be a tough day for them.
As you look at Jones here, he is the catalyst of that defense, and you know, he uses his speed similar to Darren Smith of the Hurricanes.
First look at the shotgun here for Torretta, throwing to Harris, got it at the 30. Harris makes the catch, and right on top of him is Brad Smith out of Houston St. Thomas. But another Texan, Jonathan Harris, comes up with a catch, and Harris out of Houston, Fortis Brooks, makes the recovery. And he gets it just shy of a first down by about a half a yard here for Miami, but they will measure.
Here's a good look at the shotgun, and a little hairy on the snap, but Gino gets the ball, gets it out, and Harris comes down with the ball, especially after dropping the first one. That's a good job of coming back to the guy, developing his confidence.
You'll get a good look at this measurement here. They brought the sticks from across the way. And the indication is good. First down, Miami. So TCU in their first possession failed to get their first down, but Miami, on the strength of a Torretta 8-yard pass going out to Jonathan Harris, and they make the reception and the first down. Ball is at the 31-yard line in Miami territory. The Canes dominant in college football, as you see the numbers on Gino Torretta. And we'll get a little more specific on just exactly where he stands among those. And he's right at the top in most of the divisions for the quarterbacks. Hand off through the middle is Bennett. Straggling tacklers ahead as he crosses the 40 out to the 44-yard line. A gain of 12 by Bennett, and there's that running game that you were talking about.
Now, this is something that's been missing from the Hurricane offense. Here they pull the weak side. Here they pull the weak side tackle and guard. And here comes Bennett running through the hole, and he does a good job of cutting back, and then he keeps those legs moving. He's pumping, he's churning, and he comes up with a first down. Good running by Donnell Bennett.
Bennett, they call the strongest back, most physical in the backfield, called by Alec Wood, a running back coach for Miami, and he proves he's got 12 yards in him there. The shotgun Toretta throwing near sideline. Great play made by who else? It's Jones, the linebacker, and a nice drop for TCU.
Well, now we see he can do it all. He can not only make tackles, rush the passer, but he gets good pass drops and reads the quarterback and just does a good job of getting out, knocking the ball down. Here he does just what he's supposed to do. Get to the area, square up. Now he's watching the quarterback. He reacts to the pass, knocks it down. Good job by Lenoy Jones.
Second down and 10. Again, Toretta stays in the shotgun. Terrell Green, a lot of pressure on him as the snapper. As he'll make the snap with his second and 10, 11:08 to go. Clock stopped on the incompleted. It goes on a little draw coming straight up the middle to Bennett. He slants to the right side and will gain 3 yards on the play. But he'll bring up a third down, and they'll need 7 to the Canes, just shy of midfield.
Here we see the snap, and this is just basically a draw. You're trying to fool the defense. You got them rushing, trying to get to the quarterback, and you hand it off to Bennett, going off tackle. Good execution by the Hurricane offense.
By the way, when you take a look at that offensive line, watch for number 72. That's Mario Cristobal. As you get a good look at Gino on this third down play, Mario, because of the knee, even though it's a passing protect situation here, but even on most of the others, he can't go down on a three-point. Intercepted on a deep drop. Intercept by Evans to midfield, to the 45, to the 40, 35, and rolled out of bounds by Toretta at the 31-yard line. And Gino Toretta has just come up with his 4th interception of the year as he knocks him out of bounds, and Evans makes the interception for TCU and runs it all the way back. And this fine junior out of Dangerfield, Texas, makes a key play early for TCU. There is a flag down. It's back near the line of scrimmage. Mario Cristobal being explained. There you see a personal foul against Miami. And that is going to come after the run back, so it'll be a step off from this point for TCU. And we talked about the defense. They're in a hole now a bit.
Dead ball. Personal foul against the defensive team. First down.
So on the run back after interception again, Toretto.
Here you have Gino trying to go down the middle. And here Evans does just a good job of sitting in the zone, reading the quarterback and breaking on the ball. I think that ball was a little bit underthrown, but you see Gino as a quarterback shows his toughness, comes over, makes the tackle to save the touchdown.
Dennis Erickson again in his 4th year trying to pick up his 39th victory and only 2 losses here at Miami. And on the bench taking a well-deserved rest again is Evans, who just comes up with a big intercept. And now tack on the penalty, and the ball's at the 16-yard line. TCU threatening to score early. The crowd small, trying to get the Canes defense rallied here. Into the ball game is Matt Nockey. He's just a freshman and throws complete to the outside, and that's Oliver making the reception. Matt Nockey out of McKinney, a true freshman. Been trouble with a bad shoulder, but throws it right on the line, and a fine catch by Oliver.
Here we have play action, but you watch Oliver. He goes down, he takes his time, and he just finds the open area and settles down, catches the ball. But watch this little quick move. He makes the little juke inside, goes back out, but the defense wasn't fooled.
You know, that was one of those situations, as inside the 20 only 7 times had an opponent get there. TCU now being the 8th, and they'd scored 5. Nockey with a bad snap, and it was going to be a whistle before the play ever got underway. Nockey, by the way, name is spelled W-N-A-K-E, but pronounced Nockey. And a freshman, 6'1", 205. But it is a penalty against TCU. It'll back them up 5. You know, interesting, on the last passing play of the year, it appeared that coverage for Miami just totally broke down, as here's the call.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. Second down.
Little motion on that front line. A little over anxious here for TCU, I think.
Yeah, here's a golden opportunity, and you see the left guard here just jumps a little bit before snap. And, he's just trying to get off on the ball, trying to get that score in because they know this is a big score for him and get him off to the right start.
David Breedlove from Tyler, Texas. Here's the handoff, Nocky outside to Watkins, and he's knocked out of bounds. Coming up is Sigler to make the play for Miami. They will gain on the play, getting it back inside the original sticks. There's an injured TCU Horned Frog down, and that's ill afforded by the Horned Frogs, who brought all 80 of their scholarship players left, injured or otherwise, to this ball game.
Here we have that counter again where they're trying to run that counter tray. And here, because Barrow is stepping up inside, Watkins can't go in. And the one thing you don't have much success at is running wide on this Hurricane defense.
By the way, Mike Black was the TCU Horned Frog down, but he's up and all right. Third down play here for TCU. The ball at the 15. 10:03 to play, no score, first quarter. Nocky angles for the end zone. High in the air, intercepted by McNeil, but he falls out of the backside of the end zone. Ryan McNeil, who led this club in intercepts last year, makes a defensive play, but falls out of the back of the end zone, intended for McPherson.
But Sam, even though he didn't come down with the interception here, this was just a great job by Ryan McNeil of playing his guy outside and then falling off and coming up with the catch, and he just wasn't able to get his feet down in the end zone. Great job by Ryan McNeil.
Jeff Wilkerson will be trying for the field goal. He's 5 for 5 inside the 30. Low snap, but he gets it up and it's blocked. It's picked up by McNeil to the 25 to 30. And it's finally going to be knocked out of bounds. I think they'll rule it around the 38-yard line. But a block in the center of the line, and will try to pick it up. But McNeil picks up the fumble and heads the other way, and a big break goes against Pat Sullivan and TCU. But a big one for Miami. No score here at the Orange Bowl. 9:46 to go in the first quarter. No score, 0-0. As we greet you back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. TCU threatened, but as we go by, has blocked the field goal here. Was blocked by Michael Barrow.
Right, Michael Barrow just comes through a hole here. They just don't do a good job of getting him blocked. He blocks it, and then you see Ryan McNeil, opportunistic, picks up the ball and returns it 17 yards to give the Hurricanes good field position.
Let's go downstairs to Joe Rose quickly. Joe?
Talking to Coach Erickson, he said in the last couple weeks they've been working on the shotgun and decided they couldn't wait any longer. He needs more time to pass, so look for a lot of shotgun today with Toretta throwing the ball.
Shotgun's got to be a little bit scary, and in fact, they worked on it in the spring, kind of scrapped it as you have an opportunity to look at it for the first time for real here this year. But again, the first snap that almost went over the head of Toretta, but outside of that, Green's done a good job with it.
Well, the shotgun is a great weapon as long as you have the proper snap from the center, because if the quarterback loses vision while trying to go down and pick it up or going up, you're back to where you started. He might as well have taken the snap from the center up underneath. But if you can get the snap executed, it's a great weapon for an offense.
Here's the handoff on a 1st and 10 for Miami as Donnell Bennett, and an outstanding fullback out of Fort Lauderdale, Cardinal Gibbons, 227 pounds. We told you what Alec Wood thought of him being one of the strongest people in the backfield. Carries tacklers along, gains himself 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 for Miami at their own 42.
I'll tell you, though, you got to give Mario Cristobal a lot of credit, because every run has been right over Mario. Here you see him just driving people out, and the backs are looking for holes, just keeping their feet moving.
Toretta with that 2nd down play. 9:09 to go first quarter. No score here today at the Orange Bowl. Toretta, deep drop. Rolling, throwing, complete. Tillison makes the catch at the 38-yard line. Miami with a 1st down and deep into TCU territory. 21 yards in the pass and run, and A.C. Tillison out of Bay City, Texas. 1 of 9 Texans playing here for Miami.
This is just good execution by the Hurricane. A little play action there. Gino gets outside the pocket and hits Coleman Bell, number 17, the big tight end. And they've had a lot of success with this play during the course of the year. Coleman Bell is a senior, but he's also the leading receiver on the Hurricane football team.
Let me correct myself. Certainly that was Coleman Bell rather than Tillison. And look at Bennett going to the 29. Well, the running game has certainly hit on a couple of good cylinders at Penn State, and now it's starting to click on all here today against TCU. By the way, one of the last tackles was made by number 46, David King, a true freshman starting at free safety for TCU.
Yeah, you've got Donnell Bennett running right up Tyrell Green's back, and as you see, they're just blowing everybody out of there. And the way you win football games is you play on the other team, your opponent's side of the line of scrimmage, and offensive line is winning that battle right now.
Gain of 9. Bennett will get the first down as he powers his way to the 26.
You know, Sam, when you have some success, the way that the Hurricanes did last week against Penn State, that have to motivate you. That have to build your confidence. And as you can see today, the Hurricanes really feel that they can run the football now, and they're going after it.
You saw number 72, Cristobal. You also saw Coleman Bell, who, by the way, after he gets a hold of this tape, is really going to give me the U-Haul. But again, Toretta, 2 out of 4 so far, 28 yards, but he does have the intercept made by Evans by TCU. He's got a 1st and 10 now at the 26 in TCU territory. Going in the out pass, he's got the man he's looking for in Horace Copeland. Copeland catches it right at the 20 and is down there very quickly in the outside by Tony Rand, who was moved from free safety to the outside corner. Good look at Tony there from Aldine, Texas, a senior, 5'11".
Well, the Hurricanes caught him in a blitz here, and you see Horace Copeland just going down during a turn-in. And there, because they were playing such tight coverage with Rand, you see Toretta do a good job of throwing the ball outside rather than inside where it could be picked.
Trips to the left side as Toretta with a 2nd down and 5. They will not throw. Give it back to Bennett. He dives the middle. Inside middle, Weston Brooks along with Smith, the linebacker, make the stop for TCU's Horned Frogs. The Horned Frogs at 1-3-1. Again, as Pat Sullivan told us before practice and afterwards yesterday, they're just trying to find kids that want to play the game hard. And he said winning will take care of itself at TCU. Miami 20 times inside the 20 so far. Good efficiency with 15 scores, 12 of those getting 6 on the board. Toretta checking off on this 3rd down and 2. 6:28 to go. Hands off to Bennett. And Bennett with a great effort dives his way inside the 15 for the 1st down, because Vincent Pryor out of San Antonio Churchill had a hold of him, number 89, and Bennett just literally snuck away from it.
Once again, here you see Gino doing his job, checking off, getting him in the right play, and you see Donnell Bennett, he's got his body leaned down low, and he's just driving through the hole, trying to get that 1st down.
And so many times you hear about running backs, you get a good look at Pat Sullivan there, the Heisman Trophy winner in 71 at Auburn, is good runners keep their legs moving, and that's certainly what Bennett's done so far.
So far, he's doing a real good job of staying low and just driving through the defenders.
1st down and 10 at the 15. Toretta back, throwing to Spencer. And I tell you what, Darrell almost made one of the most beautiful catches you'll see for Miami, but not quite, as the senior out of Merritt Island, Florida, just missed it at about the 5-yard line.
Well, Sam, what's impressive about that play is to see Lenoy Jones running with Darrell Spencer. I mean, here's a linebacker that's covering a wide receiver like a blanket, and he's out there and makes it a tough throw for Gino to get the ball to Darrell Spencer.
No angle to get it to him better.
No
he had to
angle
throw
at
it
all.
over it. Yeah, nice play. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. 14-yard line in TCU territory for the number 1 ranked team in the college poll, the Hurricanes of Miami. They give it straight ahead, and Bennett's going to be met squarely in the center of the hole. No place to run to this time, and coming up to close down the hole quickly is Mike Moulton out of Arlington. Their number 3 tackler with 54, and also getting up off the bottom is Brad Smith out of Houston St. Thomas with 50 tackles. Their linebackers are very active.
They've got real good linebacker play similar to the Hurricanes, and here you see the Hurricanes trying to run a draw, and once again, they're not able to get a hat on Brad Smith, and he's there making the hit, and in comes Moulton.
This is only the 4th 3rd down effort for the Canes. They're 2 out of 3. They're in a definite pass situation here. No running backs behind Toretta. He's back. Good protection. Time to throw. End zone he's going. It's to Spencer over his head, incomplete. I tell you what, that offensive line gave him plenty of time to look at 1, 2, and 3 receivers, and he just overthrew Spencer. And now Pruitt will come on, and he'll try to get the 3 points on the board.
Well, they gave him plenty of time, but there's just nowhere to... There was nowhere to go with the football there, Sam. And, I was looking at the linebackers, and all 3 linebackers were back along the goal line playing pass defense, which, that's a great drop for linebackers.
This will be a 32-yard try. Only 4 of 9 so far this year for Dane Pruitt. The snap is up, The hold is good, and the kick is good as well. So with 5:04 to go in the first quarter, Miami has drawn first blood as Dane Pruitt has hit it from 32 yards away. Miami leads TCU by 3. Field goal by TCU by Miami has put them back on a 0, but Miami has come up with a field goal of their own, and with just a little over 5 minutes to go in this first quarter, it is a 3-0 game with Miami prepared to kick off again to Davis and Hickman for TCU. And you look at a pretty good conversation, and that's a good thing for Miami. Good give and take. Jonathan Harris and Dennis Erickson here for the Hurricanes as they've got a road ahead with 4 games that you have to classify as winnable, including today. They'll play at Virginia Tech next week in Blacksburg, back with West Virginia Tech, West Virginia, and then Temple, and then look at Syracuse, San Diego State on the road. That's a tough way to finish the season.
Well, everyone talks about Syracuse and San Diego State, but West Virginia is playing good football as well.
We'll find out how well they are playing as they, of course, are battling the Orange Men of Syracuse today. Again, Davis and Hickman. Davis number 24, Hickman number 2, and they wait as Dane Pruitt gets ready to kick it off here. Dane, by the way, now 50% of his field goal tries, 5 of 10. He is now a total of 4 out of 6 inside the 30-yard line. Outside of that, he has to struggle a little bit. This one with a wind behind it will come again to Davis on the near sideline. It's a block at the 15, bangs off a tackle at the 20, and comes straight ahead. And Dane Pruitt is a man that puts him on a seat of his pants.
I tell you what, that was a major league hit by Pruitt there. You know, you love to see a kicker come up and hit someone head-to-head like that.
You know, it was interesting. One of the officials came over and patted him on the helmet and said, hey, what a great effort that was.
Right, this is just a great job of running by Davis. And he breaks the tackle, spins down, he looked like he can go. And look who's here. It's the kicker. And I mean, he stands him up. Great tackle by Dane Pruitt.
Young man out of Birmingham, Alabama. 5'11", 192's got some good size. I'm not sure how quick he is, but he got down there in a hurry. Well, Clay is back at the quarterback with the split running backs here for TCU. Wide receivers left and right. Watkins with the call. And Curtis gets the ball square over the middle. Dives it out near the 35. They'll put him down at the 34-yard line. Watkins out of Marlin, Texas. Again, 4th all-time in rushing. Over 2,800 yards for the Horned Frogs of TCU. He normally is spelled by colors, but not today. He's injured.
This is just a lead play with the fullback coming up there, lead, and then good running by Watkins, but Jesse Armstead stepping up in there on making the tackle.
They're going to be trying John Oglesby, number 32, at running back a little bit today. And the handoff goes straight ahead. And Michael Jackson, the fullback this time, gets the call. Jackson, little used, only 9 carries for 10 yards, but he has a score. Normally gets it in short yardage situation, gets a gain, and moves it out for a 3rd down, and they need about 3.5 to go.
Here you see Warren Sapp doing a good job of beating his blocker and getting in on the tackle, not giving Jackson anywhere to run the football.
You know, that's one thing they tried to do a great deal of with Miami, is to use their first, second-line people almost equally. Warren Sapp has had a good time to do so. Clay's struggled with the pass so far, hitting only 1 of the 5 that he's thrown. He's back to throw his 6th. And it is in and out of the hands of Oliver, and that is not Clay's fault. Oliver just dropped that one.
Well, Clay has had a couple of good throws here that should have been caught. You know, that's the second DB, drop ball, as we call it. We call it DB. But that's the second drop ball that could have been a first down. You know, they've stopped themselves so far.
Oliver may have another couple of words for it before he gets to the sideline. Kordsman gets ready to kick for the 2nd time here for TCU. Mario Cristobal, you may recall early on, he was shaken up just briefly after the intercept, and now he is heading to the dressing room. So Cristobal, trouble with that bad knee, is heading to the dressing room. Joe Rose will be checking on that. A bad snap, but Kordsman fields it. Harris will watch this one bound in front of him at the 30. Takes a good Miami bounce and hops upfield. And the man coming up to down it is Darren Schultz for TCU. Let's go down to Joe and find out about Cristobal.
Well, real quickly, Cristobal has been fighting the flu the last couple days, the stomach flu. They're going to go put some IVs into him, put some fluid back into him, and try to get him back in this ball game. But right now, he's got upset stomach. He's very sick.
Well, that in itself is good news to me, because I was fearful it might be the knee again. But again, just the problems that Joe alluded to there.
Well, you don't ever see a player leave the field, but you're always happy that you know he'll be able to come back, and it's not one of those nagging injuries like a knee or a shoulder that it's hard to rebound from.
Larry Jones is now the running back, the most valuable player of the Orange Bowl victory by the Canes over Nebraska. And he runs it out, replacing Bennett. Gain on the play of about 6 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 4. TCU on the left side. Those linebackers again continue to be the active tacklers.
Well, you know, the offensive line is just doing a good job, but I'll tell you what, it's impressive to see the offense run the ball with authority. They're going 5, 6 yards, 10 yards at a clip, and when you can run the football, the passing game will become easy. It'll take a lot of pressure off Gino.
Patrick Conley, a reserve linebacker, in there, number 53, made the tackle for the Horned Frogs. 2nd down and 4. Torretta, short drop. He's letting it fly, intended for Copeland. Copeland chases it down, but he runs out of real estate. Well, I tell you what, Tony Rand had covered him about as well as you can cover him, as he was stride for stride, as Copeland, one of the real quick people in the Big East and the nation, were running stride for stride up the sideline.
Sam, this is his first game at corner. He's normally the free safety. They've moved him to corner, and here he runs stride for stride with Horace Copeland, who is the fastest guy on the Hurricanes football team. You have to wonder if Pat Sullivan didn't know something when he made that move.
Well, he said he wanted Ryan and Wesley, two very aggressive and swift people on the corners. Torretta, quick look-in pass, comes to the near sideline. That is going to be Chris Jones, number 85. Makes the catch, and it's enough for the first down as he falls down at the 43. Let's go back now to Joe Rose. Joe?
Well, a big part of this Miami offense has been Kevin Williams, number 5. He will definitely not play today. He's in shorts and a shirt today. He will not play. He's been a big part of that offense in the slot.
So Williams, who has had some nicks and bumps and bruises, got more against Penn State and will be held out today. And obviously the reason that Jonathan Harris is returning punts today and is playing so much at a split receiver, he is one of 3 playing to the right side on this first down play for Miami. 2:17 to go first quarter. Miami up by only 3. Torretta, ball is batted in the air. Harris comes back to make the catch, but there's a flag down. Ball was batted in the air. Brad Smith, number 51, batted the ball up for TCU. But there's a flag down as, again, Thomas Thamert from the Big East, our referee, and his officiating crew squaring things away, and it's holding against Miami. By the way, it was a reception by Harris, but it'll be rubbed out here.
Ladies and gentlemen, holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
No, it's really got to be kind of a tough situation as we take a look at it again here.
Right, here they come again with a blitz, and then you see Brad Smith sees that, you know, he can't get there, so he stops. He does the next best thing. He jumps up, bats the ball down.
Dennis Erickson again trying to motivate his ball club this week. Yes, you are playing a team that you should beat in TCU. You're coming off the emotional roller coaster of Florida State and Penn State big wins. You're back atop the coaches poll. You're behind Washington in the AP poll. But you've got a game that you just show up and maybe you win. Maybe that's the thoughts of some of the Canes and Dennis Erickson. Is try to say, hey, we need a good win to solidify our hold on number 1. And in the shotgun, Torretta. First down and 22. Has a blocker back there with him, and he airs it out. It's down intended for Thomas. Thomas has it at the 20. He's in for the touchdown.
Great throw and catch by Gino Torretta and Lamar Thomas.
That was strictly just the speed of Thomas out-racing the secondary of TCU, and Torretta laid it out for him. He ran under it. 68 yards, touchdown Miami.
Here you see Thomas just driving down the field. A little post move where he splits the safety in the corner, and Gino just hangs it up high and let Lamar run under it. And here it's just a good job of keeping his balance until he gets to the end zone. A fantastic execution by both players.
Evans and Rand were the 2 defenders, but they can't get there. Pruitt's extra point is good. A minute 58 first quarter. Miami has now taken a 10-0 lead on TCU here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, as the number 1 Canes try to go for their 49th consecutive victory in Miami and their 24th in a row. We'll be back with more after this on Sunshine Network. Over TCU, a 68-yard pass from Torretta to Thomas, just one of the many long-range Toretta, of course, having a long one, 99 to Copeland for an all-time record here at Miami.
This is getting the monkey off your back. You only threw for 80 yards last week. Here you hit Lamar Thomas for 68. And last week, his longest pass reception, or completion, shall I say, was 15 yards. So Gino has to feel good at this point. There you see a happy Lamar Thomas, and they seem to have worked out the kinks over the week.
Well, Gino Toretta, boy, you talk about jumping up quick, moves into first place on UM's all-time total offense. 6,077. He's already number one in pass attempts for Miami, and we're talking about, obviously, quarterback you here at Miami. So Toretta among the best. By the way, that was indeed the longest pass play of the year for the Canes of 68 yards. This time, it'll be Davis and Hickman again at 3rd on 5, and Pruitt will again kick with a wind slightly at his back here for Miami. Up by the score of 10-0. They're kicking to Davis again. Third time he'll have a chance to do something with it. He goes to the 20, falls across the 20 out to about the 23-yard line after a 16-yard gain. And C.J. Richardson, number 19, makes the stop for the Canes as Clay, only 1 of 6 for 9 yards in passing, will run this series for the Horned Frogs.
Well, Pat Sullivan talked about alternating with 2 quarterbacks, and so far they've done that. But Clay's inability is not all his fault. He's had a couple drop balls that could have sustained drives, and they've got to come down with the catch. They've got to help him out. He can't do it by himself against a great defense like the Hurricanes.
Watkins is the lone running back for TCU. 1:52 to go into the win for the Horned Frogs. Watkins gets the call. He is dropped. Not much of a gain right over the middle, and that swarming defense for the Canes comes up and makes the stop. And number 94 is Dwayne Johnson out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Just a sophomore, getting some playtime today. He makes the stop for Miami. Well, the Canes strike early. 4 plays, 68 yards, only 1:29, and again a 68-yarder. Toretta to Thomas for the lone touchdown. Pruitt with a 32-yard field goal, and that's the scoring of the afternoon so far. Richardson and Greer are the deep safeties. Clay is back to throw. Being chased by Sapp, who throws to his sideline, and McPherson literally can't hold it. And they definitely are putting something slippery on the TCU football. They cannot hang on to it.
Well, I think you got a bunch of young men that are trying to make great plays. They're trying to make more out of a play than what's there. And sometimes you want to run before you can catch the football, and you have a tendency of dropping the ball. Here, you see McPherson. He's got the ball, and he takes his eye off it. He's trying to find an area to run, trying to find some room, locate the defender, and he drops the football.
TCU has failed to convert on their 3 third-down plays. Some of the young ladies performing at halftime with the band of the hour at the University of Miami. Clay is back to throw on a 3rd-down play. Sapp has a hold of him, but can't control him, and Clay dives his way to the 26-yard line, but it'll bring up a punt time for Quartersman again for TCU. Sapp was the one that almost got him deep. Michael Barrow along with Johnson make the stop.
Right, here you see them just breaking down the pocket, and this second-year freshman, Warren Sapp, just stays after him. He flushes him out and won't allow him to set up and throw the football.
Jonathan Harris will be back on his own 40-yard line, looking into the sun. As again, Kevin Kortzman will be kicking here for TCU. Low snap again. He gets another pretty good kick out of that into the wind. Harris will get a return. Now he gives ground to gain ground. Barely fights back to where he originally caught the ball, and there's a flag down across the way. He loses 1 yard on that 39-yard punt by Kortzman. So as Harris, again looking into the sun, tried to give some ground to gain ground, did not get it, and the officials will discuss the play. Don't forget that the Canes will be heading to Blacksburg, Virginia next week against Virginia Tech. Back here 2 weeks from today against West Virginia at the Orange Bowl. And it is going to be a block in the back by Miami, so they've had a couple of pretty sizable penalties here early on after almost penalty-free day at Penn State the other day.
Well, I think it's frustration. The punt return.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team. First down.
The punt return has really been a big weapon for the Hurricanes throughout the years. And so far this year, they've had their problems. They haven't been able to get Kevin Williams healthy. Jonathan Harris has not been able to break a long one. So, everybody's trying to do a little bit more. And sometimes you shouldn't throw that block, but you hope you get away with it, so you throw it anyway.
Tight end Coleman Bell comes to the left side. Otherwise, they split Thomas to the wide left. They have Harris in the slot to the right, make that Spencer slot right, and they're looking that way. Torretta pumps. He throws it as he's nailed from behind, and coming up on the defensive play for the Horned Frogs and trying to catch him from behind is Chris Palan. He's only a freshman high schooler out of Grapevine, Texas. 6'4", 210, just nailed Torretta.
Well, this is a saving tackle here, or should I say a hit, because Gino had Copeland wide open going down the sideline on a stop and go.
There's a good look at the young freshman out of Grapevine. Well, big play, 6'4", 210, nailed him. So as the pass goes incomplete, it's second down and 10, only 8 seconds to go in this opening period. Miami leading it by the score of 10-0. In the shotgun again is Torretta. Time to look and throw. He does to Harris. Harris has it for a first down. He gains 12 on the play. Clock does not roll at all. It still stays at 8. And I'm sure the officials will correct that as it's a first down for Miami. Boy, Torretta throwing that one right on a string.
Well, here's more the typical Miami offense. The passing game where you get Harris open out here. And watch this little move here. You get to pick up a couple extra yards.
The game clock. 3 seconds.
So again, only 5 seconds run off the clock. It's down to 3 seconds as it started at 8. You see that wind down there. And as the Heat here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Armstead, McNeil, and Greer, 3 top defenders, take their opportunity to get some rest while Gino Torretta on offense wants to stay out there as long as they can. And as the clock winds down, that's the end of one here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. So the Canes throw back the Horned Frogs early and score 10 of their own. It's Miami 10, TCU nothing here on Sunshine Network. It's 10-0 as the Miami Hurricanes lead the Horned Frogs of TCU. Joe Rose is a very busy man down in the field. Let's go to him quickly, Joe.
Well, so far the TCU defensive game plan has worked fairly well. They've told their players coming in this ball game, don't give up the big play, give up the short play, give up their short running attack, and give up the short pass, but stay away from the big long pass.
Good look at Reggie Herring, who, by the way, is an 81 graduate of Florida State University and is from Titusville, Florida, the defensive coordinator for TCU. Likeable conversation with him yesterday when he worked out here at the Orange Bowl, and his defense is on the field again as Torretta airs it out. He's throwing for Copeland. High jump, and it's just knocked away, and that is Evans again. No, that's Rand, number 1, who made another fine play for that quarterback spot. Well, Torretta had his man, but Rand just knocked that one away.
Well, Gino was trying to get it down the field once again to Copeland, who is, I guess, his favorite target as far as the long ball goes, because they hold all of the records for the longest receptions. But once again, Rand does a good job of just staying in his pocket, staying in his hip pocket. And the ball here is just slightly underthrown, but Rand recovers and bats the ball away, as you can see here.
Underthrown at about 50 yards down the field. My. Good play by Tony Rand, the senior. Normally a safety, now playing cornerback. Here's a little draw delay going to Jones. Ball's on the ground. Did the ground cause the fumble or not? The officials say yes. Jones was down, and Evans's recovery is rubbed out, and it's Miami's football, but now they face a third down play.
Third down.
A lot of action coming on TCU as far as where the coaches come from. And let's take a look. Pat Sullivan, certainly from Auburn. He was their offensive coordinator, FSU, Auburn, Miami. How about Paul Jett, played right here. Auburn, and Georgia. All of those guys have the big Southern connection from the Southeast Conference. A good one where you played at Florida.
Well, they've got a lot of Southern talent, not only in their coaching staff, but also on their football team, as well as the University of Miami has a lot of Dallas talent here from Texas.
Thomas tried to cut back. The pass appeared to be thrown to the outside. Thomas had turned to the inside, and it goes incomplete on that third down and 11, so it's 4th and punt time As a matter of fact, the first time we'll have a chance to take a look at Paul Schneider. But let's look at this run on the coverage here again.
Well, it looked like he's just driving down, running a square in, and the ball's thrown a little bit behind him, and trying to gather himself and come back, he slips.
Paul Schneider, transfer from Saddleback Community College out in California. And the catch is made by Hickman, Anthony Hickman, who normally plays the quarterback role, but does return the punch after 45 yards into the wind by Paul Schneider. And it's going to come up to be a first down for TCU, and the ball will be at their own 24-yard line. Good look at Hickman going off, number 2. Again, he was called pound for pound one of the outstanding secondary people in the country, but they said he just wasn't getting the job done. Thus the move, Ryan into his spot, or Ryan, excuse me, and again, David King moving to the free safety spot for TCU. As a look now at Max Naki. He has played, this is his second series that he's played so far today. Got his shoulder bumped up a bit against Baylor, but it is his left shoulder, and he's a right-hander. He throws complete, and making the diving catch on the far side, coming up with it, is Stephen Shipley. Shipley at 6'5", 220 out of Lindale, Texas, their number 1 receiver. And they really want to try to do something with him. They say he runs excellent routes and really has some great hands.
Right. When you talk to the TCU folks, they talk largely about the hands, his ability that if he can get his hands on it, he'll come down with it, and that's why he's their leading receiver.
Naki again came in the Oklahoma State ball game in this rotation of Clay and Naki, and he won it with a touchdown pass, their only win of the year, as they turn back the Cowboys 13-11. Only a high school freshman. There was a motion along the line for TCU before the play ever got underway. And a nullified play here. Again, the referee indicating it is a motion penalty going up, and the procedure against TCU. They'll march it back 5 yards. Are set up by still a second down play.
Dead ball. Ball start. Offense. Second down.
So the false start on TCU backs it up. By the way, Miami. Some of the action on the right side. Oh, yeah.
Here you see the right tackle just, gets off a little quick. Like I say, they're a little anxious, and they're trying to make big plays, and they know they're playing against a very talented defense, so sometimes you make mistakes. But you can't make them in big ball games and expect to win.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Watkins is in the open field. Got it to the 36-yard line, and finally able to come up and make the stop. For the Miami Hurricanes, it's going to be Malcolm Pearson, number 38 out of Fort Lauderdale. But, oh, what a burst of speed that was by Watkins. Curtis running really well right up the middle.
Well, this is the way you make up for a mistake. You just open a hole that a truck can go through, and if you see Watkins come through there, he's shaking and baking, and he picks up the first down.
He had 80 yards versus New Mexico early this year. 139, 80 yards on one run, 135 for the night. That was an opening night out in Albuquerque for TCU. Naki back to throw. The freshman over the middle. This one is complete and then fumbled away. Was it a reception? No. The officials say no. The intended receiver was Michael Jackson coming out of the backfield, but he couldn't hang on to it, and the ball falls loose.
Sam, I don't think he really ever had possession of the football. He was juggling it here. And here you see Naki. He does a good job of putting the ball on the money. And as you can see, he really never has possession. Whoa, I don't know.
That was close.
It's very close, but it looked like he never really had control of the ball.
Well, he got a pretty good shot from Pearson nonetheless as he came up along with Richardson. Gave him the shot right after making the catch. It's a second down and 10 to go for TCU. Ball still at their own 37. A flag is down again. Referee's waving this one off. Naki had no place to throw. Will just run with the ball, but they'll have some more false starts here for TCU, it appears. 12-18 left to go before halftime.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. Second down.
This is one of those problems you probably go through, Nat, when you are alternating quarterbacks. Different cadences, I'm sure.
Right. You got different cadence. Each quarterback has their own feel. And sometime as a player, whether it's an offensive lineman or a back in the backfield, you're trying to get off on the count. You anticipate. And depending on which quarterback's in, he can hold it a little bit or he can rush it. So, it's kind of tough on the lineman.
Pat Sullivan, 6 years an assistant at Auburn. Offensive coordinator along with coaching the quarterbacks. What else? Now the head coach here at TCU. Handoff up the middle. Watkins driving his way out. Over the original line of scrimmage, Pearson will finally bring him down, but they gain 5 on the play, make it about 6. But it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 9 to go here for TCU. Jim Wacker had done an excellent job at TCU before Sullivan takes over and trying to build with character.
Here we see the lead play again, once again, and Bruce Eberst is in the ball game and comes up with the tackle.
So they're using a lot of people. Of course, the offensive coordinator for Pat Sullivan, of course, gets into the act, but this is the man that does all of the ball playing for TCU. As back to throw is Nocky. McNeil had that one in his hands, but incomplete. Intended receiver was McPherson, and nobody more disappointed than McNeil. He said, oh, man, was that a dying quail?
Well, Miami was in their cover 2 defense where they show corner up, and then as they run that corner route, you see McNeil comes back and makes the play. He almost comes down with the interception. You know that's one he should have had.
Kortzman will be kicking with the wind at his back this time. Harris, I don't think, respects that wind as he's standing on his own 30. Kortzman had a couple of pretty good ones. He gets another low snap, and Harris has to really retreat back. All the way back to his own 19 before he tries to turn upfield. Still looking for ground, and he's going to lose another yard. So Jonathan Harris fields the punt after 43 yards, loses 2 on the return. 11:16 to go before halftime. It's still a 10-0 lead as Miami leads the Horned Frogs of TCU. We'll be back to Miami after this timeout on the Sunshine Network. For the score of 10-0, they're trying for their 12th consecutive victory over a Southwest Conference school. And TCU coming in and on the bottom of the score. Joe Rose has a special guest down below watching the game at field level. Joe?
Well, we probably have TCU's biggest fan today here. Roosevelt Collins, a 6th-round draft choice rookie, middle and outside linebacker for the Miami Dolphins with me. Took a little time out from practice today, and he's out watching your team's giving a heck of a go here today, Roosevelt.
Yeah, they're playing very well right now. They keep it up for the 4 quarters. They did very good.
We were watching you over on the sideline earlier. You were really getting into it, getting the guys fired up. What'd you say to them?
Oh, man, I just feel like I was here last year. You know, just keep it up and let's play hard and enjoy the game. That's what they need to do today.
How about the start of the Miami Dolphins this year, 5-0?
Oh, we're loving that. Every minute of it.
Okay, real quickly, you want to say hello to somebody at home?
I just want to say hi to everybody back in Fort Worth, and see you soon.
Okay, back up to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 1st and 10 for Miami. They'll operate squarely at their 20, and Gino Torretta, 6 out of 15, 123 yards, gets it outside, and this is, once again, Coleman Bell. That will be a very late hit, and TCU is going to get caught for it. Diving into the stack that time was Vidon Smith. He's a freshman out of Lubbock Estacada, number 77, and dove in to Coleman Bell. So the personal foul against TCU after a good catch and run that time. Gained the Hurricanes about 7 yards. And rubs it out with the penalty, of course.
Personal foul against the defense. Automatic first down.
So Miami's doing just a great job of mixing their plays up here. Coleman Bell blocks down, then comes out on a delayed screen and gets the ball and picks up about 6-7 yards, and then get hit a little late and you get 15 more yards. So this is just a good job of the Miami offense mixing their attack up today.
Well, as Miami continues to run a lot of receivers in and out, Chris Jones is the widest receiver. To the top of your screen is Torretta. Back to throw. He gets it out there to Jones. Jones tried to turn the corner at midfield before Tony Rand, the senior who has been all over the field, number 1, can finally corral him. And that's exactly what they're trying to do, isolate one-on-one out on the sideline there.
Yeah. And Miami loves to isolate their guys one-on-one because they know that they all can run good routes, catch the ball, and they got quick feet. As you can see here, Chris Jones almost breaks the tackle. He gets the first down. I tell you, Tony Rand is starting to wonder if he should have stayed at safety. It could look like they're going at him every time.
He's definitely going to get that TCU white uniform dirty today. 10:47 to play here in the first half. 10-0 our score from the Orange Bowl in Miami. Sam Smith, Nat Moore, Joe Rose. Glad you could join us today. The Hurricanes of Coach Dennis Erickson with the longest current winning streak in NCAA college football of 23. They've won 48 straight at the Orange Bowl, including 3 in the Orange Bowl Classic, as Torretta in his numbers. A touchdown, but an intercept as well. Handoff. Stephen McGuire into the ball game, number 30. As we've seen Bennett, Jones, and now Stephen McGuire, their number 1 rusher of a year ago. And he runs it square up the center of the football field. And another first down deep into TCU territory for the Canes.
Well, Steve McGuire's got to love this. Last week against Penn State, he only played one play, and here the first play he runs for 10 yards plus. So everybody's getting into the act, and when the offensive line blocks, it's amazing what the running backs can do.
First down, Miami with their 10th compared to only 2 for TCU. Over 600 yards for McGuire, the QC number 30. In his stance behind Gino Toretta with a first down play, and he's going to get the call again. Run straight ahead, and he just got those 3 or 4 yards on his very own as he gets it out over the 35 to about the 34.5 in TCU territory. He's played in only coming up his 5th game, this being the 6th for the Canes. Did not play at all against Iowa. Has gained 64 yards on 29 carries, 11 yards being his longest so far this year.
Right, he's had a tough road back. You know, he's still hobbling with that knee a little bit. He's still not 100%, but as you can see here, he's starting to drive a little bit more with his legs.
Toretta with a second down, a need 7, is back to throw. Protection is there. He throws in and out of the hands of Copeland. Copeland back there right in front of the true freshman again, David King, number 46, but he just literally could not hang on to that one.
Well, he let the ball get into his body that time. Instead of reaching out, catching it in his hands, he tried to body catch it, and it was able to get to the pads, and once it hit that pad, it ricochets off. Here he does a good job. He looks the ball in. It's right there. He drops his head on it, but just because he let it play him by hitting the pads, he was not able to come down with the catch.
By the way, Rudy Barber out with an elbow surgery, the starting offensive guard and one of the only returning starters of a year ago out of there. They have moved, of course, Diego London, number 74, and Vickers to the guard. Is back to throw. Is Toretta. This time he throws to Jones. And Chris nosedives his way to the 18-yard line. Coming up to make the stop is King, but another first down for Miami at the 18 in TCU territory. 16 yards on the pass and run.
Well, one thing I like about this Hurricane offense, Sam, is that if they try a play and it's there, and they don't come down with it, they come right back to it. This is the same play that they just tried to hit Horace Copeland on. They come right back to Chris Jones for the first down.
Let me finish up on our offensive line. Number 77, Zed Lemelski, who is a sophomore from Miami Beach, who had started early in the year, has now replaced Cristobal again. And again, at the strong side safety, he again is number 77. Toretta checking off at the line of scrimmage. And there'll be a flag, and he may not have got that one off as he throws it complete to Jones for a touchdown, but that'll be wiped out. Ouch.
Now that hurts. You know, you read the blitz, you get to the proper play, and you just don't get the ball snapped in time, and
nope.
You know, that hurts.
There you see that ugly old clock that just ran out on him.
Delay against the offense.
Well, we'll see if what is called, if the first it succeeds, let's try it again. Let's see if they come back with that same play. Jones, of course, caught it for the TD that was rubbed out. Of course, TCU may have also relaxed a bit with the whistles blowing.
Well, they relaxed, no doubt. But they caught him in a blitz. The middle of the field was wide open. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back with it, though.
Well, it's in the shotgun for Toretta on a first down and 15. He's throwing that same tight pass to the outside. This time, instead of cutting all the way across the field, goes to Jones, and they do make the reception. Going to be about 13 yards on the reception. They'll take it down to the 13-yard line in TCU territory.
You know, we talked about, will they come back with that same play? I guess they answered our question. This is the same play, but Chris Jones does a good job of seeing the safety, and he hooks it up.
Good.
You know, I mean, that's good quarterback, wide receiver coordination where they're on the same page and they understand what they're supposed to do.
As far as adjustments are concerned, that true freshman, of course, David King also adjusted well at the free safety to cut off at least the crossing pattern. Toretta runs into McGuire, then has to run for his life, steps away from one tackle, and slides into first base, safe. But nonetheless, he's going to lose 2 yards on the play as Roland West, number 97 out of Winona, Texas, 6'3", 280, was in hot pursuit. First man to try to get a hold of him was Tunga Bolden. This is a young man from Ann Arbor, Michigan, number 91, that chased him down but couldn't round him up.
Well, this is just a broken play that's supposed to be a counter back to the left side. But here is where you see Gino Toretta's smartness. Here he had McGuire wide open, but he knew that the lineman would be downfield, so he did not throw the ball. He just tried to get back to the line of scrimmage and save the play.
Third down and 7. Again, the 15 of TCU. The pass to the near sideline to Thomas. Knocked off his feet again by Tony Rand, but it's enough for a first down for Miami. And they'll be first and goal to go inside the 10 of TCU.
Once again, you see Miami go to that bread and butter. Just a little quick turn in to Lamar Thomas, let him spin outside and pick up the first down. So this has been a play that they've lived on all year on 3rd and short or 3rd and medium when they had to have a first down.
Again, Gino Torretta all time in the total yardage and total attempts for Miami. Just continues to add to his total today with 6:54 left to play. He was listening to our pregame and doesn't want to hear that anymore. McGuire, goal line, touchdown Miami.
Good blocking up front. Offensive line coming off, opening up a big hole, and McGuire just lowering his shoulder and going in for the score.
So the running game that came together again at Penn State last week continues to shine against the young frogs of TCU today. And Stephen McGuire starting every day to show you the old form of last year scores for the Canes. Dane Pruitt with a 16-0 lead will try to add the extra point. Snyder with a hole. The kick is up and the kick is good. So at the Orange Bowl in Miami, the Miami Hurricanes, #1 in the country, on top of TCU by the score of 17-0. We'll return with more second quarter action after this timeout. Free Bill and certainly downtown Miami, a picturesque city here in the South Florida area. And the Miami Hurricanes, truly the pride of South Florida right now. I guess the Dolphins are trying to regain some of that with their perfect 5-0 record. And here at the Orange Bowl, let's take a look at McGuire right into your living room.
Well, here's a good job of Tyrell Green just muscling up with Brad Smith and blowing him out of there, and there's just a big hole, and Evans can't get there to stop him.
You see the scoring drive, 10 plays, 80 yards, 6 yards by McGuire to finish it off. And 4:28 it took him to run that, and that's kind of getting some stability to your offense again. No matter who you're playing with, once again, Gino Torretta throwing the ball well, and the running game also complementing that.
Right, they're adding some continuity to their offense, and this really helps the defense out. I was talking with Tommy Tubal, who is the linebacker coach, and he was saying that all year they were spending too much time on the field, and that's why they weren't #1 in stats. But when the offense controls the football the way the Hurricanes are doing today, that's going to help that stat.
Hickman is on the near side, #2. Davis, #24, on the far side, as Dane Pruitt calls his team to attention for the kickoff into the wind. This one will hang up. Davis will field it at the 7. To the 20 and 25. Ball looked like it might have got loose just for a moment, but Davis reels it back in. A 21-yard return as Naki, who had played the last series, is replaced again by Leon Clay. Interesting enough, with 33 touchdowns as a Horned Frog, he is only 12 shy of breaking the immortal Sammy Bowles record of 44 at TCU.
Now that is amazing for a guy that's only had 15 starts coming into this ball game. But once again, that proves what kind of athlete he is. And if he can get these guys to hold on to the football, they might be able to make a game of it.
He's had a tough afternoon today against the Canes defense. Only 1 for 7 as Motkins has had a great day, though. And he rambles his way through. He does not have the same size as Marshall Faulk, but he has that same kind of quickness and low attack. He really runs very, very well. Well, he of course, running very well here.
Right. Well, he's got good quickness, and he's got real good feet. He keeps his feet low to the ground so he can move left or right on a moment's notice, and that's why he's a good runner. He came into this ball game averaging 5.2 yards per carry.
Well, he's beating the heck out of that today with a second down and about 2.5 yards to go. Gain of 8 on the last play. They'll give it to him again. He's met at the line of scrimmage and gains only a yard more as the entire center of that defensive line collapses in around him. You see some other new numbers getting in the fray here now for Miami. That's Marley, #2, Short, #50. Also on the front line, they're trying to add some more stability as well and getting some other players in. Eberst, you made a mention, is also playing at linebacker.
Well, Miami came into this ball game with a lot of guys all banged up, and here we see Rohan Marley coming up making the tackle. But they're trying to get some guys healthy and get some younger guys a lot of experience today. So we should see a lot of new numbers play today.
You'll also see #94, Dwayne Johnson, the defensive end. Motkins on a 3rd down play will carry to the line of scrimmage, and good penetration by his offensive line on the right side as Milby and Robbins carried him through, and they have a first down. At least the officials indicate it is.
As we go back and look at the instant replay here, you see the offensive line. Once again, they're coming off the ball. Johnson comes around and almost makes the tackle to keep him from gaining the first down, but They've got so much drive coming off the ball, they're able to push that Hurricane defensive line back to get the first down.
By the way, Jason Kelly, number 72, you saw him in there for TCU. He's playing on that front line for the Frogs. They do have a first down at their own 38-yard line. They trail 17-0, though. As a handoff, Motkins deep in the backfield. Trying to get away from the defense, and he won't get away. And again, coming up to make the stop is Ebers coming up to make the stop. You know, Bruce had been one of those players that had been one of those backups to Darren Smith or to Burrows or also to Armstead, but he's been gone to the third team, but he's playing well today.
He's playing real well today, and here we see Motkins start out right, and he tries to cut back. He's coming back against the grain, and the one thing he'll learn with this Hurricane defense, they all can run.
Good look at Bruce Ebers, again from Miami, Florida. Fine linebackers. He's in there on his 2nd and 9. Play back to throw. He's throwing, and there are going to be the hands we talked to you about. The diving catch by Nowak, number 82 from Duncanville, 6'4", 245, and a senior. And he has enough for a first down for TCU, and they have it squarely at midfield.
Now here's what Clay is looking for. Some guys to help him out. Here we see Nowak, the tight end, lay out, come down with the catch. Great catch.
Well, they've been averaging 23 yards per catch. So he is a guy that, even though he got 10 there, he's well under his average, but a big catch the Horned Frogs needed with 3:58 to go before halftime. Handoff deep in the backfield. Oglesby gets out of a Houdini's trap and fights his way into Miami territory at the 45. Well, I tell you what, a lot of arm tackling going on by those second unit guys for Miami right now, and Warren Sapp is going to be coming in, and Lopez will come out for Miami as a 2nd and 5 here for the Frogs.
Well, here you see Oglesby. He's in the grass, but he keeps his feet moving. He cuts back. You see a lot of missed tackles here, and he almost comes out of this thing running.
Glenn Stone, the SID for TCU, said it would be very interesting to find out how well Oglesby ran at tailback. With colors out, expected to come back for Rice next week. It would be a nice addition there. Here's a dump-off pass, and there again is Nowak, but he's going to catch that one for a loss. They will lose a yard on the play, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down, and they'll need about 6.5 here.
Well, here, once again, you see Nowak just making an acrobatic catch. But what has to happen is Clay's got to give these guys, hit them on the numbers, give them a chance to come out of there running so they can make some big plays for him.
Coming back in the ball game is going to be Motkins, number 28. He'll be one of the running backs as they'll split he and Oglesby together behind Clay. 3rd down play, TCU. 46-yard line against the Hurricanes. Clay in the drop. Good time. Throws it over the middle. A catch, but not enough for the first down as Marley makes the hit on Motkins coming out of the backfield, and they will be, it appears, about a yard shy.
The completion is 5 yards.
Clay looking to the sideline if they want to try to go on this 4th and 1.
Well, here we see a replay where Bruce Ebers is right there. He tries to make the hit to deflect the ball, but Marley comes up and holds him a yard short for the 4th down.
Well, the crowd behind the defense is Pat Sullivan has dialed in a 4th and 1 at the 41-yard line in Miami territory. Back to throw his play. He dumps it off to Nowak. He's got it to the 30, to the 25, and knocked out of bounds. And Miami expecting Motkins to run the ball in the center of the football field, and they crossed him up with a little dump off to the tight end. Nice play by TCU.
Well, you have to believe that the Horned Frogs looked at the film from last week versus Penn State. On 4th and 1, you do not run the football. Here they run a little play action. Good job of dumping it off to Nowak. Here he catches it on the move, and he picks up extra yardage for the first down.
Pearson finally making the stop, but it's a 1st and 10 for TCU. Plenty of time with 1:44 at the 25-yard line. Lone running back is Motkins. Clay, who's had some success in this drive, has it knocked away. And making the play is Lopez. Kenny from Key West, Florida, number 71. 6'3", 275, and a junior in his 4th year. Makes a big play there as Clay was trying to dump it off again.
Well, here you see they really have got a tight end screen here, and they've got it all set up. And Kenny Lopez does a great job of saving it because Nowak was wide open out there with 2 blockers in front with plenty of room to run.
We may have to check his vertical jump here. The caulk got up there pretty good. Defensive tackle at 275. Lopez will dig in here now with a 2nd and 10 for TCU. The Canes 25, a minute 39, and the clock will roll on this snap. Watkins caught from behind, gets away from one tackler. Will not survive that of Dwayne Johnson, number 94, and will go down in a heap again right at the line of scrimmage. By the way, Darren Crine, number 91, is also back in there for Miami. There's a look at him, number 91.
Well, Miami's put their first-team defensive line back in there, and Warren Sapp comes around the block, and I tell you what, Watkins shows a lot of strength here when he just throws him off, but then there's just too many Hurricanes around the ball.
TCU.
Here you see once again, as Warren Sapp has him, but he's so strong, little running back, that's able to throw him and keep going.
TCU has converted only 1 of 6 third-down plays today. That's one of the reasons they trail by 17, and now they have taken a timeout. So Texas Christian use up a timeout here in Miami at the Orange Bowl, as Pat Sullivan wants to visit with Leon Clay, his quarterback, and we'll be right back after this from Coors Light. The Silver Bullet, it's the right beer now.
It's a refreshing taste from a cold, cold place. Yeah, it's easy going down from the very first round. Pure as can be, it's a natural, you see. Wow. It's smooth, smooth, silver bullet smooth. Yeah, well, that's our story. Now it's your call. Cold Coors Light, it's the right beer now. That's all. Bye-bye.
The Olive Garden's new Roman pasta holiday celebration will have everyone speaking fluent Italian. See for yourself when you taste our generous portions of ravioli and tonello, chicken and artichoke mostaccioli, spaghetti carbonara, and our emperor-sized Roman holiday platter. So come celebrate our Roman pasta holiday, where for just a few lira, you too can learn to speak a little Italian.
Get on the Fast Track Thursday. Review the top motorsports action from IndyCar and NASCAR. Lay it on the line with the World Grand Prix Tour in AMA road racing. Plus the best in highlights from German touring cars to off-road with hot action in the SCCA and USAC. Plus over 30 straight weeks of great guests in action on This Week in NASCAR. Get on the Fast Track. Thursdays on Sunshine.
Sam Smith along with Nat Moore and Joe Rose back here at the Orange Bowl. Miami 17-zip over TCU. Let's head back downstairs. Here's Joe Rose. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Thanks, Nat. Real quickly, what they're trying to do right now is they're going to, defensively for the University of Miami, they're going to play the 1s and 2s as much as possible. It's going to turn into a 20 to 24-man rotation in most of this first half and into the second half as well.
Get your spotter cards ready. Pat Sullivan on one side, Dennis Erickson on the other. As far as the Horned Frogs are concerned, they'll be heading back home to Amon Carter Stadium. It'll be next Saturday against Rice. They've got to go to Houston, but look at the home games they've got coming up. Texas, Texas Tech, and Texas A&M. Yes, they're all tough games, but at least they're playing at home. And those home fans, they hope, can kind of give them a pretty good lift at Amon Carter.
And give them the boost that's needed to keep them there in the ball game, playing well.
Third down and 11 for the Frogs right now, though. Carter has wide receivers flanked to the left, one to the right. Running back is Watkins. Here's Sapp. He knocks down Clay just as he lets the ball go. Lopez was diving for the intercept, but Warren Sapp was the man in the moment there and knocks on the pressure. Clay's down.
Well, here we see the TCU offense set up a middle screen, but Sapp gets there so quick that it throws off the timing, and Lopez is there just in case Watkins catches the ball to clean up.
Jeff Wilkinson, who had a earlier field goal block by Michael Barrow, will try this one from the 33. It's a 43-yard try. The kick is up. It's got the distance, and it is good. So a 42-yard field goal, they're officially calling it here. And Wilkins will at least get the Horned Frogs on the board against one of the top defenses in the country with a 42-yard field goal against Miami. And he will be kicking off for the Canes as the clock stops with 54. Got to be at least a little plus for Pat Sullivan here in the fact that at least they get some points on the board. At least they're challenging here in the first half again.
Talked with Pat yesterday. The big thing was to come in here, play well, and just have a good showing of their program. They're trying to build a young program. They got a new coaching staff. They got a new system. And if they could just stay on the field with the Hurricanes, they were going to walk out of here proud and looking to build on today's game.
Well, they used 13 plays and 46 yards to get that, but 554. Miami has been dominant over their opponents, obviously, with their winning streaks that they've been able to put together. And you just don't like to come to the Orange Bowl. They hold the nation's current longest home winning streak of 48. By the way, 57 is the record by Alabama. They have won 53 straight games against unranked teams, going for 54 today. An unprecedented 6th straight year, finishing first, second, or third. No other college in the entire country can claim and boast those numbers. And again, 48 in a row they have won here at the Orange Bowl. Back deep to receive will be number 3. That's Jonathan Harris. And on the far side is Darrell Spencer. Getting ready to kick off here again will be Wilkinson, who just nailed the 42-yard field goal for TCU. Purple shoe and all, he sends it deep. Back to the 1-yard line is Harris. To the 10, the 15. He's got a stride at the 20, to the 30, to the 40. Needs a block. Gets around the kicker. But knocking him down is going to be the kicker, Wilkinson. And then catching him from behind is going to be number 10, and that is Hopes. But a great run back by Jonathan Harris. Takes it from his own 1-yard line and moves it all the way down to the 46 in TCU.
Here we see Jonathan Harris. There's a big hole, but he does a great job of faking the defender out. And now he's off to the races. And once again, the kicker gets involved, slows him down, makes the tackle.
So Wilkinson, number 22, makes this stop with only 44 seconds to go after a 54-yard kickoff return by Harris. Gino Torretta out of the shotgun will try to get some points on the board. And he's going for broke. He's got Copeland on a dead run. He's got a touchdown, Miami! Lightning strikes quickly for the Canes. 54-yard kickoff return by Jonathan Harris. And 46 yards on the pass. Torretta to Copeland, falls into the end zone. Touchdown for the Canes, 23-3.
Well, this is what we were talking about the whole ball game. You know, you keep trying it until it works. They've been trying to get the ball to Copeland deep, and here they go. Touchdown. Good throw and catch. Harris does a good job of catching the ball with the defender hanging all over him.
And the kick by Pruitt is up and good. Just when TCU thought they had a little bit of a positive heading for the dressing room, they get it snatched away by the kickoff return, and this, a beautiful pass and run. Torretta, one of his favorite receivers, and the ruthless posse strikes again here at Miami.
Let's take another look at this touchdown pass here by Gino Torretta to Horace Copeland. As you can see, he's got plenty of time to throw the ball. He does a good job. He steps into it and gets it out front. Copeland does the next best thing. He outruns, ran for a change, and he's wide open for the touchdown.
Well, a few passes. Bob Greasy along with Dan Marino were floating through the air to my compadre, of course, Nat Moore. As he watched a few of those head into the end zone, 75 times, I believe, you stepped into pay dirt in the National Football League. Mark Clayton has just surpassed another one of your records. What's your feelings there, my friend?
Well, he's broken every record I've possessed so far, but I can tell you, a guy like Horace Copeland have to feel good. They've tried to get him the ball deep all day. Last week, they weren't able to throw the ball deep, and they keep trying till he's able to hit it. So that has to build that morale or that passing attack back up.
Hickman and Davis. Hickman to the near side will try to return this Pruitt punt. Only 37 seconds to go. TCU will have the win at their back, by the way, for these final seconds of the period, so we may see Clay or Nocky with some kind of long pass as this ball will hang again, and Davis will field it at the 8. Across the 20 to the 22-yard line. It appears that TCU, after a 14-yard return that time, looks as if they have something set up, but Miami just driving through those blocks, and they have made good coverage on the kickoff returns here so far for TCU.
Well, here we got an isolation on this touchdown. As you can see, it's just a post pattern where he outruns number 1, ran, and there he does a good job of looking the ball all the way into his hands. Earlier he dropped one where he let the ball get into his chest and he dropped it. So better job by Horace Copeland.
Kind of a quick scoring play, 1 for 46 and a TD. All right, it'll be Nocky, the quarterback here for TCU. On a delayed draw, they give it off to Oglesby, who tries to sneak attack against Miami. Gets it out over the 25-yard line. They'll gain about 4 yards, and it'll bring up a second down and 6 needed. Oglesby again with a carry. 17 seconds and counting here. TCU may be content just to wind out the clock. That appears to be what they're going to do with 10, 9,
Here's just a draw. They're trying to see if they could get some yardage, get upfield, and maybe just go into the halftime and regroup. So they go in, they try and make the corrections, come out, and try and play a solid second half to stay in the ball game.
Well, the fears of Pat Sullivan that Miami would get off to a start on him in the first half have been realized, and Dennis Erickson has now seen that he's got a ball club that's focused. They have a lead with a score of 24-3 as Miami trudges to the dressing room ahead of TCU. We'll be back with our halftime facts and figures and features. Don't go away. We're back on Sunshine Network in a moment.
Miami Dolphins season and individual game tickets are on.
From fourth to first of the all-time passing yardage of 6,076 yards. Number one now ahead of Vinny Testaverde, completing 46-yard TD pass to Horace Copeland was the one that finally put him over the hump.
Well, that put him over the hump, but I think the big thing, coming off a miserable game last week, they just wanted to get started and get the long pass back into their offense. That's been something that lived on throughout the years, and this last game, the longest pass was 15 yards. So the ability to hit that 68-yarder really got him started real off to a good job.
TCU, of course, trying to be as balanced as they can, but they've got to get some more yardage, only 105 here at halftime. The Associated Press top 10 as selected by the writers and broadcasters around the country. Only 1 point separating the Huskies of Washington and the Miami Hurricanes there, followed by Michigan, Alabama, big game with Tennessee. Texas A&M, Florida State, Colorado, Stanford. Real surprise on a Bill Walsh, Penn State, and Georgia. The coaches poll, you can kind of flip-flop that number one and number two because that's the way the coaches, after they had seen the weekend effort by Miami in their win over Florida State and over Penn State, they moved them to the number one spot in the coaches poll. And put number two would be the Washington Huskies. So again, Miami number two in one poll and number one in the other. And now Dennis Erickson trying to get his ball club focused back for a second half. This is difficult now. Pat Sullivan talked about the problems he's got making adjustments. Now you got to focus your ball club for a good solid second half for Dennis Erickson.
Well, I think both coaches have the problem of not having their team take each other lightly. The TCU team not quitting. The Hurricane team not going out playing without that emotion, that drive that keep you from getting hurt. When you start to lay down and take it easy, that's when you have players hurt. That's what Coach Erickson would like to stay away from.
Jonathan Harris, who had that big 54-yard return, will be back there with Spencer from Miami, and they'll kick to Harris again. Wilkerson with a kickoff for TCU, a yard deep in the end zone. Here he comes. Harrison that time will not get away from one man as he forces him to go too wide, and there's a flag back up ahead of the play after a 17-yard return that time by Jonathan Harris. So Miami, that won the toss early on, deferred to the second half, will have the ball to start the third period and leading at 24-3 as there is a hold called on Miami on the return on Jonathan Harris. So we'll wait till they unstack the ball and move it back as Dennis Erickson, speaking of moving them back, gets his players and coaches off of the sideline.
Holding against the receiving team during the run back. First down.
Thomas Thamert, again, our referee. Here's another look at Harris from behind.
Well, here you C.J. Richardson has
been watching world-class wrestling.
Yeah, he's studying to be a wrestler.
So Toretta in the shadow of his own goalpost. At his 9-yard line, gives off to Ferguson, the freshman running back. And Ferguson from Miami Columbus High School, 97 yards. He's trying to crack the 100 mark for the first time. Gets the first carry for here, and he will get it out to beyond the 10-yard line or right at the 10. So they gain a yard for Ferguson and before Bolden from Ann Arbor, Michigan, can make the stop for the TCU Horned Frogs. Well, there's one thing about Dennis Erickson. He is getting a look at all of his running backs. Started with Bennett, came with Jones, followed by McGuire. Now we've seen Ferguson, but Toretta just keeps pumping them on here. 222 yards passing so far in the game. Is 2nd and 9. Toretta over the middle. Intended that time again for tight end Coleman Bell out of Tampa Jefferson. And it was just ahead of him as he seemed to almost fall backwards, looking for the ball to come a little bit wider to his right. Ball may have also been tipped before it got to him.
Yeah, Greg Evans did a good job of not being fooled on the play action and stuck with Coleman Bell, and the ball was thrown inside to try and keep Evans from being able to make the play. The ball's not deflected, but here you see Coleman Bell trying to lay back and make the catch with Evans going over his back trying to make a good defensive play.
Well, we'll see if Miami goes for the first down or goes for a bomb. They go for the first down, and knocked off his feet over there is Chris Jones. Big hit by Rand and David King. That's Rand number 1. King is number 46, playing in Rand's normal free safety, and they collaborated nicely around the receiver that time, Chris Jones, out of West Palm Beach. Almost looked like the helicopter move. We saw you in the NFL films all the time.
That's no fun.
Back there is Hickman to receive the punt here from Snyder in his end zone. He'll get it right at about the goal line. Kicking into the wind. He's got it nose going into the wind, and it's spiraling back there. Hickman all the way back to the 39. To midfield and dives into Miami territory. And before Warren Sapp, number 76, can make the stop, a 51-yard punt by Snyder. But a nice run back of 13 yards that time by Hickman. And TCU again will go to the attack as Leon Clay will come in to start this first series, as he, along with Max Naki, the fine freshman out of McKinney, have been alternating. But now it is Clay to run the Horned Frogs in Miami territory at the 47-yard line. Any wrinkles we can expect from TCU here, Nat?
Well, I expect them to come out and just basically continue to work on their offense, not come up with a lot of trick plays, because trick plays have a tendency to backfire on you.
And
here we go.
Oh, the trick play. The flea flicker.
And he's got him open.
Oliver, touchdown. Shimmy Oliver on the call by Nat Moore on the trick play. The flea flicker for 47 yards, and it works. And TCU strikes from 47 yards out to cut the deficit down to 24-9. Boy, you could smell that one out, couldn't you?
No, I have to give you credit for that, Sam. You smelled that out. I thought that they would stick with their regular offense, and here they go. They run a little dive, pitch back to the quarterback, and throw it right over the top. Here you see those great tools we were talking about with Leon Clay, where he puts it on the money, and Oliver comes down with the touchdown.
Got Richardson and Greer turned completely around. And Oliver, world-class sprinter from TCU, makes the catch. Wilkerson with a kick, and TCU will try to gain some respectability again here in the third quarter, as Wilkerson makes it a 24-10 game with the Canes on top with 13:45 to go. We'll be back with more from Miami after this timeout. As the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for the last 6 years at Auburn before taking over, has dialed in a little trick play here. Let's take a look at Oliver streaking up the field.
Well, he just does a good job here. He looks like he's just coming off, going block, and then he takes off, and he fools C.J. Richardson, who's supposed to be back in the middle of the field here. Good example of coming out, catching the Hurricanes all fired up, and then taking the advantage of their aggression and throwing it over the top with a flea flicker.
Also scoring a great deal of respect for Motkins, the fine running back, as they were stacked in to try to stop him. Just as the Canes didn't take long to score on their last possession before the half. The Frogs in their first possession of the third quarter, one play, 47 yards, 9 seconds to execute that, and it's a 24-10 game. And you can see the disgust on Dennis Erickson's face. He said, I told you we had to be focused in the third quarter. And now they've got Harris and Spencer back once again. By the way, as Nat pointed out along with Joe Rose, Kevin Williams not playing today, out with an injury. He should be ready for Virginia Tech when we travel to Blacksburg next week for the Hokies against the Canes. Line drive kick by Wilkerson will go out of the back of the end zone. No chance for Harris this time. So Gino Toretta and company will come to the attack at the 20-yard line. The defense of TCU had forced them into a punt. A good return of 17-yard return by Hickman, and then, of course, the bomb to get them the points. Sullivan was very realistic about his comments yesterday when we visited with him. He said his ball club is very young. They're down to only 80 players that are playing now, which is very little for major college football. He's had players that just didn't want to play his program. Said we're getting kids that want to play our style, and it's going to pay some dividends.
He talked about discipline. You know, to be a winning football team, you have to develop discipline. And that was something that he felt that this team needed badly when he came in, and he's working to get that.
7 yards.
Bolden finally makes the stop. This again is Ferguson. And Danielle Ferguson, who shattered all of the rushing records in Dade County, Florida. which is where Miami is located, and they've had some great ones, shows his skills.
Yeah, here he's the back of the future, I think. He's the guy that's got the quick feet that can do a little bit on his own. As you see here, he comes all the way out the backside, which you don't get much with the big guys.
They'd like to see him get a little stronger. He's 6 feet, 185 pounds. You see a fine defensive play, and diving in, that's going to be Pryor, Vincent Pryor, out of San Antonio Churchill. I might throw a little plug. The home school of my 3 youngsters who graduated in San Antonio there. Pryor, 6'3", 225, and just a sophomore. Nice play.
What we have now is a fired-up Horned Frog defense. As you can see, they're fighting off the block, getting into the lanes, creating a lot of indecisions by the running back.
As Pryor gets his defense to attention, a 3rd down play, and about 3.5 needed for Miami. Look for Toretta to throw this one. He's got the lone running back in Ferguson. Back looking. He throws isolation to Jones. He just took his eyes off of it, incomplete. He was turning to see where Rand was. Rand was a couple of steps off, and he took his eyes off, and obviously the ball went the other way. That was enough for the 1st down, but not this time, and Snyder again will punt to TCU.
Sam, today, for some reason or another, you've got more receivers that are trying to body catch the ball instead of catching it in their hands, and what's happening is that they're looking it in, but it's hitting the pads and continually bouncing off. We saw it earlier with Horace Copeland. Now we see it with Chris Jones. You know, they've got to have confidence.
Ball is blocked. So the punt is blocked at the line of scrimmage. It takes a Miami bounce. Hunter Snyder is back on his feet. No, correction, there's a blocker back upfield as the ball rolls dead at the 49. And this is going to be Pearson. Malcolm Pearson was down there, back there blocking for Snyder. And you see the medical team, the trainers for Miami racing out to his aid. Again, the ball was blocked right at the line of scrimmage. It does end up in a 24-yard punt, finally down at the 49. Let's see who finally gets it here. They do come almost squarely up the middle. And it appears that number 23 got in there. That is going to be Rick LaFlavors. Here's another look at it here now.
All right, they just come after. They send everybody. LaFlavors come in, gets the ball clean.
So again, as Snyder got the kick away, Pearson, who is on the right side of your screen, gets a licking but keeps on ticking as he comes off the field here. But again, the block made by LaFlavors. I'll tell you what, TCU has come out with a bit in their teeth. They want to try to make a game out of this thing in the 3rd.
Sam, I don't know what Pat Sullivan said at halftime, but this is an entirely different TCU ball club. They've come out. They've stopped the Hurricanes at 3 and out both times, and they've been able to score on their first possession. So you're talking about a team that come to play the second half.
Pat Sullivan giving a play to Max Nocky, the freshman from McKinney, back in to run this attack after Clay strikes. He throws over the middle. That's going to be behind the intended receiver. They were trying to get this ball again on the fly to one of those speed backs by the name of Kyle McPherson out of Tomball, Texas. 5'10", 175, 174 yards and receptions already this year, but he couldn't come up with that one. It was a little short of him.
A little short and a little late throwing it. He had him open. If he'd been able to get it off a little bit earlier, here you see him rolling out, which takes a little bit more time, sets his feet, and it's just not there. He's getting hit just as the ball gets there, but it was short anyway.
You know, you're showing the confidence that Coach Sullivan has in not only Clay, but now in Nocky. After Clay scores on a touchdown strike, he's letting Nocky throw. This time he hands off, and Motkins can go where? Riley, Armstead, Patrick, all getting off of there for Miami. And Motkins, who had a good first half, is dropped for a loss. It'll be a loss of 3. It'll be second down. Make it 2. It'll be second down at about 12.
Well, here you see good penetration. You got Patrick Riley in the backfield. He follows the play. Once again, you see the strength of Motkins as he throws him off. But by then, the entire Hurricane defense has got it.
Motkins had gained 49 yards on 12 carries in that first half. TCU's only 1 of 8 in third down conversions, and here's another one. 3rd and 12. Nocky with a long throw. It's over the head of the intended receiver, Oliver. Nocky is knocked on the seat of his pants back up the field. Sapp along with Patrick both converge on Nocky. But again, he throws over the intended receiver.
Good pressure as you see the Patrick, you see Riley, everybody there, and big Sapp coming in, putting a hit just as he releases the football. Warren Sapp, number 76.
A big Sapp. He talked very highly of you.
Oh, no. Okay. Big Warren Sapp. I didn't name him. him.
Back there is Kordsman. 4 punts, just under 40 yards. He's got the wind of his back. Harris will be back for Miami. He'll sail this one in with that wind, and it goes all the way back to the goal line. And Harris, I thought he was going to try to field the ball, wisely saw the goal line and said, no, thank you. 55 yards for Kordsman, and he has suddenly become a weapon. Miami will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20. 11-18 third quarter. Miami 24, TCU 10. We'll be back to Miami after these messages. 48-game winning streak for Miami. Let's go downstairs as Joe Rose sees how they're trying to hang on to it here at Miami. Joe?
Thank you guys very much. First of all, Malcolm Pearson has a bruised shin, number 38 for the University of Miami. He bruised his shin on that kick play. He will be back in right away.
So Pearson setting alongside of Kevin Williams, who is being held out of this ball game. Fine kick returner to his right there, number 5. By the way, Miami in this 48-game winning streak has outscored their opponents here at the Orange Bowl 1,707 to 390. Dominance by the offense and the defense here in this 48-game winning streak. Well, for the Hurricanes, they have slipped into Texas and come away with some good ones. You see Armstead along with Francis, a couple of linebackers, as is Harris. Harris has already shown the kick returning. Casey Jones out with injury and redshirted. O'Neal, J.C. Richardson, Tillison, and Williams. Williams, a good one out of Dallas, all out of the Texas connection. So they've gone to Dallas and got their share there, which TCU said they'd like to get back. Too much time may have been taken again. Our procedure against Miami is out of the shotgun. Toretta with a 1st and 10 at the 20. So, you know, Toretta kind of dejectedly looking at that one. And here is our referee, Mr. Thamer. And again, Miami is penalized. Gino Toretta gets calls from the sidelines. They run people in and out.
Red ball start, offense, first down.
And we take a look at the movement on the sideline again.
Here we see Zamelski just trying to get back. He knows the pass. He wants to protect Gino. Don't want to get him hurt, and he moves a little early. But he'll make up for it.
Again, Toretta getting his calls from the sideline. Has the green light to change it as McGuire. On the run, takes it to the near sideline. Evans, along with Rand, come up to make the stop. Those are two gentlemen that will not have trouble going to sleep tonight. In particular, Tony Rand. He has been all over this field for TCU defensively, as he has really had to make a lot of plays, as has Evans, the strong safety, number 6.
Another good job of Miami coming off the ball. And we talked about Lumelski coming out, making up for that penalty. And what you see him blow his guy off the ball, giving McGuire plenty of room to turn the corner.
You know, Miami did a good job of sealing the linemen, but the linebackers and all of the safety people seem to be pretty free. Downfield blocking not there right now as Toretta. And he's 2nd down and 13 throwing. Here's the screen to Ferguson. Gets a block from Coleman Bell. Gets ahead all the way to the 35. Falls to the 36. First down, Miami. Nice play to isolate Ferguson in the open field. It gets him out in front of Mike Moulton, the linebacker, and it pays dividends for the Canes.
Well, they want to get Ferguson in the open field as much as possible. You see him lined up here in the backfield. He checks out and to the outside, catches the ball, and gets turned upfield. Now, watch his feet here. Watch him make a little sidestep, picks up 2 or 3 extra yards. That's what they're expecting out of Danielle Ferguson in the future.
17 yards on the pass and run. On the screen is Toretta out of the shotgun. He's airing it out. It's intended for Copeland. He runs, gets a hand on it. He, along with Rand, were stride for stride. Copeland thought he might have been bumped on his way to the ball. But it falls incomplete, but he tried his darndest to get the one hand as Rand and King were both back there together. Scary moment for TCU when they see those receivers heading out.
Well, Toretta's got Copeland flying through the secondary here, and he really has the ball on the money. But you have a little incidental contact, which the official doesn't call at this point, which kept Copeland from being able to come down with the football.
2nd down and 10, 37-yard line in Miami territory for the Canes. 10 and a half to play in the third as Ferguson gets the call. Slants to the outside, will gain only about 3.5 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down, and the Canes will need 7 to accomplish a first down here. They'll give him 4 yards on the play, so it's going to be a 3rd down and 6. And it's good to see Ferguson getting some play time. However, he'll be coming out now as they'll be isolating some fly patterns here. Spencer will be one, will come in. Thomas, along with Tillison, who I tried to get a catch with earlier. And also Copeland all split out. And, of course, Coleman Bell, the tight end. McGuire, the running back to block. They get it to Thomas. Thomas to midfield. First down, Miami. Dives his way to the 48-yard line, and they isolate on the corners and pays again with a first down.
Bread and butter play, as we talked about earlier, Sam. Anytime it's third and short, third and medium, they know that they can throw the turn-in route to their wide receivers. And here we see Lamar Thomas being isolated once again on the wide side of the field. Catches the ball, turns upfield, gets the first down.
Lamar Thomas scored 6 touchdowns on touchdown passes last year with over 623 yards and receptions last year. Already with over 250 yards this year is a throw to Coleman Bell from Torretta. And they've got 12 more yards on the run and pass, and another first down for the Canes. This is my imagination. Or how much sharper is this passing offense that we have not seen almost all year long for Miami, Ned?
Well, they're sharp because they're able to run the football. They're holding those linebackers in there. They're not allowing the defensive line to get penetration. And here we see a receiver catch the ball in his hands. This kid, Bell, is a great receiver playing tight end. You know, he's an undersized tight end.
Torretta trying to approach the 300-yard mark. He throws to Thomas. Diving try. Goal line, no good. And Lamar saying, oh, my, that was so close. He, of course, the very vocal leader of the Ruthless Posse, the receiving corps here for the Canes.
As you see, that Miami comes back with a little trickery themselves. They've been running that little turn in. Here they go, turn in and go. And Gino has him open, but he's just not able to get it in. He let him a step too far.
Second down and 10. I mentioned Torretta trying to get to the 300 passing yards again with 264 right now. He's been over 300 yards in his career 6 times, over 400 3 times, and holds the school record with 485 last year against San Diego State. He's back to throw. Sideline again. Coleman Bell. Is it enough for the first down? It is close. Right at the stake, which is across the way. The officials will look. Maybe we'll measure.
So we've had several balls today dropped because receivers have let the ball got into their chest. Here, watch Coleman Bell reaches back, catches it with his hand, and pulls it into his chest. So this is what coaches teach receivers. Catch it in your hands as much as possible. Try not to let the ball play you.
It's shy of a first down by 1. 26-yard line of TCU. Coleman Bell, the tight end, in motion to the left. Goes to McGuire. He's met in the hole. Gets away from one man. Breaks free at the 25. To the 20. Drags tacklers down to the 16-yard line for Miami. First down. Well, I tell you what, Brad Smith met him head on. And McGuire, with those moving knees, just drove Smith backwards. And Smith is down and hurt for TCU as McGuire runs hard.
Well, McGuire just does a good job. Here he looks like the old Stephen McGuire here as he just keeps his legs moving, runs through the tackle, and gets the first down and plenty of yards to spare.
Evans finally had to make the tackle from behind. Smith is down for TCU. A fine senior out of Houston St. Thomas, 6'3", 235. And again, he took on McGuire head on and actually had a 20-pound advantage on him, but McGuire just drove right through him.
It looked like Brad Smith took him on with the shoulder, and sometimes when you have that kind of hit, you come up with those stingers, where you lose feeling and it's a burner, and you just don't have any feeling in your arm. But he's able to get up and walk off. He'll be okay. He'll be back.
You saw the applause by Pat Sullivan because this is one guy you don't have to worry about. Smith, along with Moulton and Jones, and add Conley, Jackson, and Roy, their linebacking core have all come to play this year for the Horned Frogs. Very reminiscent of what Dennis Erickson has enjoyed with his Canes, with Smith, Barrow, and certainly Armstead as their starters, and now they're starting to get even more depth at that position as well.
Right. I'll tell you, though, Dennis must feel good to see McGuire running the way he's running today. To see him go in there and shake off a couple tackles and come up with a big first down, that's reminiscent of the way he was running.
Torretta, touchdown, Jonathan Harris. So Torretta continues to add to his already school record passing yardage, 16 yards to Jonathan Harris. And the Canes take even a larger lead here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Dennis Erickson breathing even more of a little sigh of relief as Dane Pruitt eyes the uprights for the extra point. The snap. Schneider's hole. The kick is good. 2 seconds to go in the third quarter. Miami 31, TCU 10. Back to the Orange Bowl with more of our college football on Sunshine Network in a moment.
It's where Major Nelson dreamed of Jeannie. Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral. Where, Andy said, men with the right stuff get together. Where else can you see rockets as tall as the redwoods and shuttle flights that'll really take you into the twilight zone? But seeing the Mini Whitney didn't exactly pass military muster, it was suggested we park someplace else. Jack, Andy said, why spend $200 a day for some fancy Florida resort? Not when $5 buys you beachfront on the RV lot, and you might even find a genie that isn't in your dreams. Can it get any better than this? The hot Floridian sun and sand as white as a Pepsodent smile.
You Winnebago!
Plus, the locals don't even mind lending a hand with the parking. And best of all, you can bring your own supply of Old Milwaukee Light. Standing on the warm Cocoa Beach sands, sharing a cold Old Mill Light, watching that rocket's red glare. As I've often said, it doesn't get any better than this.
The Olive Garden's new Roman pasta holiday celebration will have everyone speaking fluent Italian. See for yourself when you taste our generous portions of ravioli Antonello, chicken and artichoke mostaccioli, spaghetti carbonara, and our emperor-sized Roman holiday platter. So come celebrate our Roman pasta holiday, where for just a few lira, you too can learn to speak a little Italian.
Well, the Hurricanes leading by 21, 31-10 with just over 8 minutes to play. There's a guy recuperating for the Canes. Love to see him back. Let's go down to Joe Rose. Joe?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I'm with Rusty Medeiros. You can see the shot of his knee, and here's a guy with some pretty good spirits, the defensive end for the University of Miami Hurricanes. Rusty, how you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
The injury, it's been almost a month now. You've had a chance. I know you were obviously very hurt by this whole thing mentally as well, and how have you been able to come around? How do you stay in tune with this football team?
Well, I've had so much support from fans across the nation, New York, New Mexico, California, people from all over the place that just enjoy, watching the Hurricanes play and love what we do out there. And I try to motivate our players like that, just tell them what's happening to me. And with all this support behind me, there's nothing I can do but just work my butt off and come back next year stronger than ever.
Rusty, we want to wish you the best. I know from everybody at Sunshine Network. Hope to see you out there next year again. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Back up to you, Sam.
Thank you. Dane Pruitt kicks off to Davis. Davis for TCU. Again, a good return as he takes it out over the 20. They'll spot him out of bounds just shy of the 25 with a 22-yard return. But let's take a look again at Gino Torretta to Harris for the TD.
They're in a double formation here, and they take the slot and run him on a corner route, and Harris comes wide open. Gino does a good job of getting the ball out to him in the corner.
Evans, the strong safety, number 6. Excuse me, that's King, number 46. Who was over trying to dive, and again a true freshman going against this receiving corps at Miami in the Orange Bowl. 10 plays, 80 yards, 3:16 to do, and Harris for 16 for the score. Back in is Leon Clay at quarterback, and back in as well the number 1 defensive unit for Miami. A flag is down just at the snap of the ball. Warren Sapp was one, along with Armstead, was on top of the ball carry that time. Motkins very quickly right after the snap and the handoff. And again, TCU is penalized. Miami may refuse that one, though, because
ball start on the snapper. First down.
Well, since that was on the snapper, they can't refuse it. It goes back, and they'll take it back inside to the 20-yard line.
I'll tell you, Miami's put their first-team defense back in, and they've made a personnel change. They've got Paul White playing free safety. As we look back at the instant replay, you see the center start to snap the ball and stop and then snap it. You can't do that in football.
Play into center. You may recall he came out with a 46-yard bomb to start the third quarter. Totally shocking this crowd at the Orange Bowl. Big pursuit. He dumps it off on a screen, and that's going to be Lopez. Number 71 was right there, but the pressure was on. It was Darren Crine along with Darren Smith that really put the pressure on. And the man closest to the ball again was Lopez.
Here they come with an all-out blitz. They're bringing all of the linebackers. And once again, you see one of those guys in the middle, the tackle, defensive tackle Lopez, smells out the screen, and he's right on the ball.
TCU was trying to set up Motkins that time for an inside screen. But You saw the big blitz and the results in the incompleted pass. Play facing a 2nd and 15. 7:50 to go in the third quarter. Back to throw, gets a big rush, and he's piled under by Kevin Patrick. Patrick with a sack out of Lake Worth. A 6-yard gain, and there's a sack for the Canes, and back it goes further as TCU has a 3rd down, and now a lot of yardage needed, about 25 for the first down.
Here we see Kevin Patrick coming through unblocked, getting his 6th sack of the year. He's the sack leader for the Hurricanes, and you can see why.
Interesting enough, he'd been in on only 22 tackles coming into the ball game, but again, 5 of those were sacks. 11 unassisted, and 6 assists on tackle. 11 assists on tackles. Handoff on a long play, and they just try to muscle it out of there to keep their punter from having to punt deep in his own end zone or try to catch. Miami in a surprise, it does not work. Center of the line gets Motkins down for only a slight gain, and it's now going to bring up a 4th down at about 20. Make it 17, and the crowd is on their feet for the effort by the defense.
Sam, I think Coach Erickson wanted to take away that momentum that the Horned Frogs had gained earlier in the ball game, or the start of the second half. So he put his first team back in, and he had them come after the quarterback. Take away the momentum and their will to play well against them.
Jonathan Harris retreating to his 30. Gets ahead of steam as he barrels his way over the 40-yard line out to the 45. A 53-yard punt and a good return by Harris. I tell you what, if Kordsman has been inconsistent for TCU, he may have resisted that label today. He has been anything but inconsistent. He's really been punting well for TCU today, I think.
Well, you know, what happens is when you play against good ball clubs, against championship ball clubs, top-ranked ball clubs, you always rise to the occasion. You try and play your best. You know, we talked to Coach Sullivan yesterday. He said their coverage was great, but they hadn't gotten the kicking from the punting game that they want. And as you have said, Kordsman has done that today, and he's really getting a good foot into the ball.
Lemelski pulling out of there on the wrong count. And he'll be penalized for Miami. As you saw, Sebastian the Ibis even want to get his opportunity to get some play time today. Here's our referee.
Good ball. Ball start. Offense. First down.
Again, number 77, Zeb Lemelski on the miscount. He was anxious.
He's a little anxious, and you could tell it was going to be that counter tray. He was pulling to his left.
Coleman and Spencer flank to the left. Thomas to the short side right. And Ferguson, the lone running back. Torretta looked right, throwing to his left. Copeland up in the air, catch. Down at the 16-yard line by Rand. So Torretta well over, are getting near, if not over the 300 mark again today. Airs it out for Copeland. Looked to the right, looked off the coverage and through to Copeland.
Here we go. Once again, you see he's getting great protection. He's able to step up and throw the football, which he hasn't been able to do most of the year. And here he just lays it up. You know, he's had some overthrows. Here, he makes sure that it's a completed ball by not getting it too far out. He's had some people open early, and he didn't want to miss.
43 yards on the pass by Torretta to Copeland. That puts him over 300 for the 7th time. Here's the pass by Torretta. It goes to Ferguson. The running back isolated at the 10, the 5, to the 2. Almost got it in. Good bit of running by Ferguson after he caught the football.
Sam, this kid's exciting. You know, you get him the ball open in the open field, and once again, he's able to make something happen on his own, and I think that's one reason you're starting to see him play a little bit more. Against FAMU, we saw him come in and lead the team in rushing with 79 yards. This is just getting it to him in the middle of the field, isolating him, and look at the speed he has. His ability to get it turned up and go north and south.
Well, Miami will bring in Stephen McGuire, 2 tight end set. Clausen and Tucker come in. Coleman Bell, as they actually have a 3 tight end, goes to McGuire to the right side. Cannot get inside the 2 where he's stacked up by TCU. By the way, Brad Smith, who went out with a stinger earlier, number 51, is back in there. He was one that was leading the charge along with Royal West, number 97.
Well, this is a very interesting formation here. It's the Hurricanes saying, we're coming right here and stop us. And sure enough, TCU does.
Clausell and Coleman Bell with the two tight ends lined up on that side. This time they flip-flop to the left, and Tucker is the tight end on the right. The formation goes left. The pitch to Ferguson at the 5. Tries to get outside, and he's going to be swarmed under. So the TCU defense is now giving the Canes some problem. You know what this means, don't you? 2 running plays, a little pop pass here, and Toretta's going to maybe try to throw it in the end zone. A flag is down, however. Let's see what that is all about. Ferguson again, they just try to isolate on the side. And it's a personal foul called against TCU.
Big break for the Hurricanes there. TCU had rose to the occasion, had been able to...
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, automatic first down.
So an automatic first down. So the Canes do draw a big break there. Almost a mishand from center here with Torretta.
Right, and it really throws the timing of the playoff, because if you look, they've got everybody hooked at the top of your screen on the left side there. And Gino's not able to get the ball out to him. And the TCU Horned Frogs come up and make the play, throw him for a loss, and then they get the penalty that takes away a big play on their part.
By the way, Jason Marucci, number 22, is also in there to block, and they try to run on this first down play. Here's Torretta. Now he'll try to come to the sideline. Look out, Gino. Oh, my. Brad Smith had his sights set on him and just dove right over the top of him, and Torretta goes down. And they'll still have a goal situation. This time they'll have second down, and they'll spot it at about the 4.
Miami tries to run a bootleg weak here. He's got Terrell Green out in front, but the corner doesn't come up, so Gino has to eat the ball, and here comes Brad Smith.
Ooh, my. Torretta turned and made sure he got the number as he went by. They do, by the way, bring the 2 tight ends out, Clausell and Tucker, so they're bringing the wide receivers in. Second down, and goal to go. Ball just outside the 3-yard line here for Miami. 3:33 to go, third quarter. 31-10 Miami. It is Torretta throwing to the goal line. Is it there? It is caught by Spencer, but he stopped just short of the goal line. So it's a 3rd and goal.
That's an excellent mark by the officials there, Sam. His body was in the end zone, but as we go back and we look at the instant replay, we watch Darryl. He's just running out. He turns, he catches the ball, but the ball never crosses the goal line, even though his feet and his body is inside the end zone.
Well, the Canes have been very good in their third down conversion, 7 of 10, but they're looking for 6. It's 3rd and goal. They'll call it at the 1, even though it's at the 1-inch line. And McGuire has a touchdown, Miami. Stephen McGuire with his 2nd touchdown plunge of the day has added some more points on the board. It's now a 37-10 lead by the Canes. And they celebrate at the Orange Bowl, where the Canes have now won 48 in a row and trying for number 49. By the way, athletic director Dave Maggard, we saw on the sideline, also offering his congratulation pat on the back, that time to, again, McGuire. The kick by Pruitt, and it's good. So it's now 2:51 to play in a 38-10 game, with Miami well in control here.
As we go back and look at the block here, you see the offensive lineman Terrell Green, Kip Vickers, and Zeb Lemelski do a great job of just moving that defensive line back, giving McGuire plenty of room to get in for the touchdown. Easy touchdown here.
Good job on the front line to muscle him in, and there's Marucci, number 22, leading the block to lead him in. By the way, McGuire on the 6-yard run earlier was his 31st of his career. This one will tie him with Melvin Bratton for the University of Miami all-time lead of 32 touchdowns, again for that man, Stephen McGuire. 7 plays, 55 yards. McGuire with a 1-yard plunge and the score.
Being tied with Mel Bratton is being in good company, and I think Stephen McGuire really deserves it. You know, he battled back from that knee injury and has done a tremendous job here today after not playing last week when he could have been upset.
Miami again, 4 games coming up that are very winnable. 3 of those at home. They'll go on the road next week at Virginia Tech, back with West Virginia and Temple. The kick is fielded by Davis. Davis is starting to get a little groove up that far sideline, and he gets it ever so quickly out to the 31. 22-yard return by the young freshman. Out of Longview, Texas. They've had some good people come out of there in college football down in the Southwest. And they've got another one coming there in Davis. So the defense, they'll flip-flop some new numbers in again for the Canes, as Frank Costa will be warming up for Miami if and when the defense can get the ball back for the offense. So we have seen all of Toretta today for 3/4 of the Canes up 38-10. Now Leon Clay for TCU with a 1st and 10 for the Frogs. Good fake holds the linebackers, throwing complete to Nowak, and he's got a 1st down just at the stake. So TCU coming out with a roll pattern there, and Mike Nowak out of Duncanville makes the catch here off the throwing arm of Clay.
Little play action coming out the backside, rolling him out, getting him outside the rush, and here he hits Nowak, who does a good job of staying in bounds, getting upfield to get a 1st down.
1st and 10 for the Frogs. Clay this time coming on the reverse to the left, throwing complete on the outside, and coming up with the reception, and they move it all the way up ahead to over midfield. And Woodley comes up with a catch. One of the things they told us about Woodley is that he had such a great year 2 years ago. Didn't get much done last year because of an ankle, but they wanted to try to get the ball to him more. And maybe today this is a start here in the 3rd.
Well, here's an opportunity for him to show the coach that he deserves to catch more balls and play a little bit more. And here he's doing a good job of catching and coming down with it, trying to get some yardage.
Another 1st down for TCU. 2:14 to go in the 3rd. A 28-point lead for Miami. The handoff. Motkins met at the line of scrimmage. Sapp will knock him down for no gain. Let's go downstairs to Joe Rose. Joe?
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Nat. You can see on the side here for the University of Miami, a lot of 2nd and 3rd teamers will be going in. Frank Costa will be going in at quarterback. But just a quick note here, something to think about. Talking to Coach Erickson yesterday, he said, Joe, it's a fine line between running up a score to keep the national championship alive and barely winning. He goes, I don't know exactly what to do, but I'm kind of in that situation. I think we got our answer today.
Well, Dennis Erickson has been far from one of those that has ever done that, to run up the score. He wants to get everybody a chance to play and just let the game take care of itself. But he has gone deep into his bench in all of the games so far this year. Clay back to throw over the middle, intended for Woodley. That was not catchable, but anyway, Paul White, number 4, was back there defending. And you do see an indication they're trying to get the ball to Woodley for TCU.
Well, they coming into this ball game talking with the AD, he really felt that if they could get the ball to Woodley, he has the ability to make things happen, to come up with a big play. And as you see, they're trying to get it to him and giving him an opportunity to show the coach what he can do.
3rd down and 11 for TCU. They've converted only 1 of 10 so far today. 1:25 to go in the 3rd as Clay drops to throw. He's airing it out. Back there is Sigler. Does he make the intercept? He does. Sigler at the 10. Up the sideline looking for some blocks. A flag is down. Sigler's still looking for blocks in the center of the field, but flags are down. As Dexter Sigler comes up for the intercept. And it appears it could go against Miami on a possible clip, but nonetheless, they've got the ball and the intercept off the arm of Leon Clay. So another 3rd down try, this time by TCU, is picked off by the Canes. Must be quite a discussion going on. They want to make sure they get all of the options explained here before Mr. Thamer comes up. Will give us a preliminary signal and then get on his mic and tell us what he really thinks about the play. Wants to go back and check the original line of scrimmage and make sure he's got what he wants. Personal foul against TCU. And a block in the back after the interception by Miami. Pat Sullivan anxiously waiting for the outcome of this call as well. And again, we are still waiting with a flag, by the way, which is lying at about the 26-yard line. Frank Costa, the quarterback, went out to give him the call. Here it is. Well, his mic is not on, but again, the personal foul is rejected. And again, they will mark it off on the point of the foul. So they certainly, the Hurricanes wanted the ball on the intercept. Now we'll get the call.
Personal foul against the defensive team. Penalty will be refused. Illegal use of the hand. Block to the back against the offense. 1st down, Miami.
So there you have the call after Dexter makes the catch on the intercept and brings it back. And now it's first down and 10. And a new quarterback will step front and center to face Pat Sullivan's defense now. Frank Costa will be the man that is called on by Miami. And Coach Dennis Erickson. Costa from Philadelphia, St. Joseph Press High School, a sophomore, 6'4". He's hit 8 of 16 passes for 95 yards, his longest of 22 so far this year. No touchdowns, but he has moved the ball game, ball club well the 2 times we've seen him play here, Dad.
Moved it real well, and you know, he's the guy that's going to be heir apparent to Gino's job next year, and it's an opportunity for them to get him some playing time.
Costa with the drop. Going to the outside. He's got it to Thomas. Thomas for about 3.
Costa complete.
In the waiting arms over there of Rico Wesley. They have not been throwing to Wesley's side a lot, number 26. They've been coming to Rand, testing him at the cornerback. At that time, Wesley played it well. As you see, number 26 there, a fine junior out of Houston, and played it well against Thomas as they try to isolate him. Thomas and Copeland come split to the near side along with Jonathan Harris. Costa gives it off to Ferguson. They've got the block set up on the right side. A flag is down. Ferguson turned the corner for 30, enough for the first down, but let's check the flags. Well, you kind of get an air of excitement when he gets a hold of the ball here, as the officials discuss it here. And a hold is going to be called on Miami. That'll rub out a fine play by Ferguson.
Holding. Offense. Penalty enforced from the spot of the foul. Repeat. Second down.
So again, with some fresh faces across the board early on, and of course a new quarterback.
Here you see the holding. Can't really see it there. You think it might be on the right guard, but you know, you're not sure. But the one thing you do see there is the quickness of Daniel Ferguson and his ability to get around the corner.
You know, one guy they're very interested in seeing play is number 74, Diego London from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. They want to see if he can get in and get some consistency. He has not been consistent as of yet. Now Costa looked up and the play clock was running all the way down to 1, and he wanted to get himself a timeout, and I think he just got it before the play clock went off. So Costa at least very present of mind to know he had to get the timeout before taking another 5-yard penalty on this second down and 8 yards. Well, the Hurricanes tough to beat, obviously right here with their current longest winning streak in college football today of 23. And 48 consecutive wins on their home turf here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. And I might make mention the only time they have lost, by the way, in the last 51 games, they lost to Maryland in '84, 42-40. Remember the Hail Mary to Boston College, 47-45. Flutie back in '84. And then in '85, your Florida Gators, the last team to beat them here, 35-23. The last time they lost in their opener here at the Orange Bowl, and that has been 48 victories ago. They're going for 49 today.
Well, I think the key to this team here and the Hurricane program in general, Sam, is that they find a way to win. Sometimes they don't look pretty, but they come up with the W, and that's what it's all about.
Ray Costa again with a second down and 8. Fakes the handoff, freezes the linebackers, back to throw, intended for Fossell. Young man who caught the winning touchdown pass against Arizona, but it was just out of his reach, and really put out of his reach by Evans, who came up and gave him a smack. Greg Evans out of Dangerfield, Texas, 6'3" and a junior, 210-pounder, free of the strong safety for the Frogs.
All right, here you see Costa rolling out to his left, but he gets pressure, and he's throwing the ball a little slow here, but Evans comes up, drives on the ball, and deflects it.
Good look at Evans there, the junior safety. He and Rand had made a quite accommodation, but now that Rand has moved to the corner, he's back there with a true freshman in King. Costa having to run out of the pocket and just throws that one away. Almost threw it a little bit too strongly, and Evans had a shot at it. King leaped, but it was not there. And Costa will trudge off with a not too picture-perfect performance here to start his first opportunity with the Canes today against TCU. Well, he's 16 seconds in the third quarter, by the way.
Well, he's a little dejected. He goes out and he's not able to get anything accomplished. But the one thing that he did wrong there is you don't take a chance in your side of the 50-yard line. And there he threw it up for grabs and could have been intercepted.
Snyder with a punt will get a good Miami bounce. It's hopping around at the 45. Let me go back to Acosta. He, of course, did have the holding penalty that was called against Miami that rubbed out the touchdown, or excuse me, the first down run by Ferguson. So he could have had things going had it not been for a penalty as well, as he and Gino Torretta, good input there by those two. Torretta, of course, the man that is starting to rack up every day more and more the records here at the University of Miami. And keep in mind, he still has a lot of games to go as he finished the day with 350 yards, 20 of 35, 3 touchdowns, and 1 intercept. Came early in the game. Evans picked him off early.
Well, it started to telecast. We talked about Gino having to play big today, and he did.
Here's Oliver. They're trying to get that speed in the open field. Nocky gives him a block behind the line of scrimmage, knocking Sapp down, but Marley finally spelled that one out as they gave the handoff. As Nocky gave the block to Oliver, not enough, and TCU will end the third quarter with a loss on the play and trailing 38-10 at the Orange Bowl in Miami. We'll continue with the final 15 minutes of this game today after this timeout on Sunshine Network.
Hey, Magic fans, slam your way into a new season with stuff from the Orlando Magic and a super souvenir value. Celebrate the new season with some neat stuff from Stuff and His Friends. For $19.95 plus handling, you can collect a stuffed doll and an official embroidered Magic cap, or a cap and a t-shirt in either black or white, all for under $20. Call 1-800-762-7900 or write to Sunshine Network and tip off the new season with a super Magic souvenir.
Hi, I'm Joe Torre. My professional life is baseball. My home life is my wife and daughter. Because of them, I'm helping to fight a terrible disease called lupus that threatens mostly women. Lupus strikes over 50,000 women a year. It destroys their immune system so that the body attacks itself organ by organ. Lupus can start as early as 14 years of age and throughout the childbearing years. Early diagnosis of its symptoms is important. Send for our free booklet, 11 Quiet Alarms, that describes these symptoms. Help support the Lupus Research Institute to find a cure and protect your family against lupus. Write the Lupus Research Institute, P.O. Box 838. That's P.O. Box 838, South Norwalk, Connecticut, 06854. Or call 1-800-82-LUPUS. That's 1-800-82-LUPUS. 1-800-82-LUPUS. Call now.
Children all over Florida are getting a front row seat to history, seeing and learning about the exploding world of knowledge as it happens in science, history, mathematics, social studies. And the cable industry is making it all possible. In the past 2 years, cable companies have installed at no charge cable service to nearly 2,000 schools.
You learn a lot.
Helping make education great in the state. It's Cable, Florida's classroom connection.
Here at the Orange Bowl, #1 ranked Miami, 38-10 over TCU. Let's go back down to Joe.
Yeah, guys, just talking to the trainers here for the University of Miami, they're very excited. They've had some of their starters have been nicked up with injury. They're taking most of them out of the game now, so we can have an extra week to get rested up, and also look for Danielle Ferguson to get a lot of carries here in the fourth quarter.
Well, he's already electrified this crowd with a couple of moves already, and the young freshman out of Miami Columbus High School will probably get even more, as the cheers will undoubtedly be cheering down on him before he leaves this University and Hallett Hall to the Orange Bowl. Well, they'll turn him around, and TCU will have a 2nd and 12. Nocky, the quarterback, the freshman from McKinney, now running for his life, and will be barged out of bounds right at about the 45-yard line.
Tackle by Baraka Short.
Short making the final hit, even though Sapp, along with Johnson, had run him to the sideline.
Well, Nocky is looking to his left, but there's so much pressure. He pulls the ball down, he comes out of there, and as you can see, there's hurricanes coming from everywhere. This is one of those defenses that really flow to the football.
And when they get to the football, they deliver a shot. Clock stops with Nocky, going out of bounds for TCU. Now he has a 3rd down play. They converted only 1 of 11 today. Nocky throwing over the middle, intended for Woodley. Marley put the big pressure on Nocky, and actually was knocked out by the back judge. And it was intended for Woodley, but incomplete. And it's going to bring up a 4th down play for TCU.
4th down and 12.
You got Marley coming on a blitz here, and he didn't see him coming, but I tell you what, he really kissed him that time.
Rohan Marley, you heard Dennis Erickson indicating on our halftime feature that he was really getting some good input from not only Marley, but a lot of other linebackers. When you consider you get Smith, Barrows, and Armstead, normally don't get much time there, but they're starting to get some time, and it's paying dividends for them. Bass is one of the other linebackers in this time, was going to rush, as was Marley. That time, Kordsman does not get it off as Harris Fair caught the ball back upfield. And they'll step off TCU 5 yards.
Sam Marley is another kid that was hurt earlier in the year, had some surgery, and now is getting healthy, and he's starting to make an impact for that Hurricane defense.
Dead ball. Ball start. Offense. 4th down.
So back up Kordsman 5 more yards. He's kicking into a stiff breeze here. The Orange Bowl is a horseshoe configuration, and he kicks right into the east end zone, which is open to the downtown area. And there you see the ruffling of the flag and the wind that he is kicking into here. That, by the way, is the Miami Arena that you see in downtown. The beautiful pink building that they drew back from there on the skyline of Miami to your right. Kordsman will be kicking to Harris. Kevin has had a very successful 40 yards plus. They rush him. He skies this one up. It will not be a long one. It depends on what kind of bounce it takes. It takes a TCU bounce at the 40, and will roll dead finally at about the 27-yard line. So he will get some yardage there, courtesy of a nice bounce. He gets 34 yards out of the kick. So Miami will take over 1st and 10 at that juncture, and Frank Costa will once again come back in for the Hurricanes with 14:35 to go in the game from the Orange Bowl here in Miami. Costa will have, as you see, Ferguson, number 7, back in there with him. Offensive line will continue to have London and Etheridge on the left side. Vickers and I believe Lemelski on the right side will check after this snap. And, of course, Coleman Bell still the tight end. Here is Ferguson. He's in the open field at the 40. Can they chase him down? Ferguson all the way down, out of bounds. And the referee has not caught up with where he went out of bounds yet. 54 yards by Ferguson. And now they rule that he stepped out of bounds at the 35. So rub out that long run, but not a great one here.
Here we see him pulling the entire right side. And here you see him hit the gap. That's that quickness and speed we've been talking about. And then he's off to the races. I'll tell you, Wesley shows that he could run too, to run him down and push him out of bounds.
Great speed by Ferguson in the open field as he was picking the holes in the middle, and you said just gapped it out of bounds. So they stepped it out at the 35 where it's 1st and 10. Frank Costa again will have Ferguson winded it all in his backfield, but he'll throw. And he throws to Jonathan Harris. Steps out of a tackle at the 30. Needs a block, does not get it down to the 16-yard line. First down, Miami. And the weapons net just continue to come here for the Canes as Harris shows his style in the open field.
All of these receivers do a good job of running with the football after they catch it. Here you see Costas throw it outside. Jonathan Harris gathers it in, shakes the tackle, and turns on the speed. You've got a lot of second and third team guys playing for the Hurricanes, but you know, they all got talent, and it's amazing. If you ever get a chance to go out and watch them practice, you'll see why they're so good, even when they put their second and third team in.
Matt Sullivan looking on for TCU. The reason they're waiting is that Sad Jackson, one of their linebackers, who normally backs up Brad Smith, has been injured and shaken up momentarily. He's going to come off under his own steam after taking a shot on the near sideline. So Jackson out of there. First down for Miami is again Reggie Herring. Young man who graduated from Florida State in 1981 from Titusville is trying to put together a defense, but there's too many things for him to try to stop.
Well, you know, we talked about Miami today being able to have a balanced attack. They're able to throw the football well. They're running the football well. And when you've got to go up against a team that's clicking on all cylinders, it's tough. I don't care who you are.
Costa back to throw. Goes on the wide out, trying to get the ball on the outside to Spencer. Threw it short of him. Spencer didn't have a try. By the way, 42,915, the smallest crowd of the year watching the Canes after the emotional roller coaster of the last 2 weeks. playing TCU on the road next week. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the high school teams have been invited to enjoy the game today as long as they wore their game jerseys. And you saw some of those young men, hopefully Hurricanes, looking on here at the Orange Bowl. Second down, 10 yards to go, still at the 16-yard line. Costa pumps one, throwing to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. It's Chris Jones. Acosta with his first touchdown pass of 1992. And a great effort by Chris Jones to get back in front of Rand to make the grab in the end zone.
You know, we keep talking about the receiver's ability to make things happen. And there you see him come back and get the underthrown ball, make the adjustment.
And they kick by Pruitt. Now makes it a 45-10 Miami Hurricane lead. The Canes, #1 in the country, adding points here on TCU, and they're doing it with some guys that normally get not a lot of time.
Well, here we see Frank Costas goes back, he pumps, and now he's trying to hit him on a quick fade. The ball is slightly underthrown, and Chris Jones comes back, make the catch before Rand can recover.
So touchdown Miami, 45-10, 14:05 to go from the Orange Bowl in Miami. Back on Sunshine Network in a moment.
Attention gardeners, now you can cut through tough, thick branches in seconds with Super Shears. The new ratcheting lever action pruning shears that give even soft, delicate hands tremendous cutting power. Watch and hear once again the powerful ratcheting lever action. Super Shears give you the strength you need to make fast, clean cuts without sore, tired, or blistered hands. Nothing stops Super Shears. Cut through things you never dreamed possible with ordinary clippers. Cut all day long without hand pain or strain. The new ratcheting lever action produces the power. The razor-sharp Teflon-coated blade provides the finest cutting edge. Together, they give you smooth, clean cuts that help plants heal fast. Call or send to Super Shears now and receive a quick guide to pruning trees, evergreens, bushes, and flowering plants. Look, the man on the left is using regular clippers to cut through this hardwood dowel. The boy on the right is using Super Shears. Look at him go. Proof positive that the power is in the Super Shears. Sir, try cutting that branch with regular clippers. Go ahead. Hurry up. What's the matter? Now try Super Shears. What do you think?
Incredible.
Prune all day, save your hands. Super Shears are not sold in stores. Call or send only $12.98 to Super Shears at this address now. You'll also get the illustrated guide, Pruning is Easy. Order more than one set of Super Shears and take $2 off every additional set you order. Order now.
Well, back here at the Orange Bowl with that 45-10 score, and you see a lot of time left to go in the fourth quarter. 14:05 left to play. Let's look at it. Another effort here by Chris Jones.
Yeah, we've got an ISO. Here we see him run the hitch and go with a quick fade. And there he locates the ball before Tony Rand does. And there's a little pushing off, but he's able to get back and catch the ball without the call.
Well, that time Frank Acosta had a good drive. 4 plays, 73 yards in 30 seconds, and a touchdown for Miami. After a short punt off the toe of Kordsman after the defense held again. Pruitt will be kicking off. Davis on the near side. Hickman on the far side, and that wind will carry it out of the back of the end zone. So TCU will get their hands on the football, and will have it at their own 20-yard line. A day that has seen Gino Toretta become the all-time passing yardage leader in the history of the University of Miami, surpassing Vinny Testaverde. We've also seen the outstanding running back of Stephen McGuire tie Melvin Bratton with 32 career touchdowns. And the days of the big numbers continue here for the Canes. Again, Jones finishing it off. That very brief scoring drive for Miami. And now it is Clay returning at quarterback for TCU. Split receivers to the right as Miami has gone over the 500-yard mark in total yardage. Motkins trying to find room. No place to run. Marley was one that made the stop. There you see Toretta talking to Ferguson saying, hey, Ian McGuire saying, you guys got to keep this up. That's a lot of fun. Young freshman's already styling, by the way, here at the university as a freshman. Gino Toretta, all-time passing yardage leader.
With that bandana on his head, it looks like Deion Sanders.
You saw Lamar Thomas already had his shoulder pads off, so it gives you an indication he is through for the day. So TCU taking a lot of time, and they do call a timeout with a 2nd down and 8. And so we're going to take a timeout here at the Orange Bowl. 13:26 to go before this game is over in Miami, leading TCU by the score to 45-10. Don't go away. We'll return after this on Sunshine Network.
Discover the hidden secrets of America's finest baseball school in a professional instructional videotape. Teaching the mechanics of the Major League Swing features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same award-winning tested under fire techniques that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Coach Mansky's study and analysis of thousands of baseball's best professional swings has yielded a no less than revolutionary approach to consistent hitting. It's proven and you'll love its easy-to-understand step-by-step video training methods. Just ask Baltimore's Glenn Davis.
This is the hitting video that gets results.
Teaching the mechanics of the Major League Swing benefits players of all ages and ability levels. A valuable addition to any coach's library, and it makes a great gift. Thousands have been sold at $39.95, but if you'll call now and use your credit card, you'll pay only $29.95. Call 1-800-652-2112 for Teaching the Mechanics of the Major League Swing, the tape that gets results.
It really worked for me.
ACC football means action. All out, all day, head-on action. It's the best from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Turn up the intensity. ACC football. Virginia and North Carolina. Sunday night at 7 on Sunshine Network.
Well, the 35-point lead here for Miami. Joe Rose is right down the middle of all this thing going on. Joe?
Well, there is, Sam. There's a lot of action going on here today. That's for sure. But I tell you, a great program that University of Miami has put together is the poster for the youth of South Florida to stay out of trouble. They actually bring 2 kids every week, and they're giving these posters out along with the Metro-Dade Police Department and the Florida Power and Light, along with the University of Miami, doing their part to help kids stay out of trouble, stay out of gangs, and stay in sports.
Good point, Joe. Join a team, not a gang. That's the highlight. It's sponsored by the Metro-Dade Police Department. And as a matter of fact, the 3 poster boys that you saw there on that will be after the game signing autographs on those posters as long as people come here. That's the kind of thoughts and admiration these kids have for the youngsters of South Florida. This is Clay. That's Armstead right in his face, and a drop and a sack. Sapp was there, Johnson was there, but Armstead was the one that reached him first. Armstead, by the way, this must be quite big for him. He is a Dallas Carter grad, so he's relishing in all of this today against TCU.
Opportunity for all the folks back home in Texas to see him play, and, you know, he's coming up big. Here he is. You see him coming in with the sack, and, you know, it's got to be fun as a defensive player when you know they've got to throw the football and you just pin your ears back and come. You don't have to worry about the run, and, you know, that's what Miami's doing right now.
3rd down, 15 to go for TCU. Armstead lining up in his outside linebacker position as Clay. Ready to throw over the middle to Woodley. Oh, he catches it in his nail, but he makes the catch. Pearson just tattooed him after the catch was made. Boy, credit Woodley made a tremendous catch and took the licking. Richard out of Lamar, Texas, a junior, 5'9", 180. 1st and 10 for TCU.
Well, here we see great concentration by Woodley. He knows he's going to get hit. He's not concerned with that. He goes up, catches the ball, takes the shot, and then shows the official, I've got the ball. Good job by Mr. Woodley.
That you had to get up several times in your NFL career and check your body parts after those hits, didn't you?
Well, the toughest thing about going over the middle is you know that you're going to get hit.
Pat Sullivan, the first to applaud that effort as Motkins gets the call, no place to run. And I'll tell you one guy that's going to continue to battle for some starting and playing time is Warren Sapp, number 76. Apopka, Florida. He's a 6'3", 280 freshman in his 2nd year, and this converted tight end kind of likes what he's doing right now at defensive tackle.
Well, University of Miami has 4 outstanding defensive tackles with Warren Sapp, Kenny Lopez, Pat Riley, and Mark Caesar, the 2 starters. So you've got 4 guys that are interchangeable, and every time Warren Sapp gets in the ball game, he's showing them that he wants to be a first-teamer.
2nd down and 10. Here's Clay rolling out, gets it to the near sideline. They've got it to Michael Jackson. He's trying to play a tune at the 45. Another first down for TCU. So they've started to wrinkle out, and I tell you, you got to give this kid some credit. Clay, he is wide-eyed and watching all of this pursuit. He's really getting some pressure, but under fire, he's connecting with some passes.
I'll tell you, he's doing a good job of hanging in there, going through the play action, even though no one expects you to run the football, and throwing a good pass. And you must give the TCU Horned Frogs a lot of credit because they're not quitting.
First down and 10 for them. 11:20 to go in this game. Down 45-10 are the Frogs. A lot of new faces for the Canes trying to show their mark. And that's one of the things in practice they do so well is they let everybody really hit on each other. As Motkins runs up the center of the football field, not a lot of running room. May have gained the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Bass was number 49 in the center of that stack. There's Warren Sapp getting up. Even helps Motkins to his feet. That's one thing you like at practice, Nat. I know you've been out there many, many times. They really compete on the practice field.
Right, every day at practice is like playing a football game for these guys, and they don't care if you're first-team offense, first-team defense. Every time you line up, you better buckle your chin strap.
Robert Bass, the middle linebacker, replacing Michael Barrow, calling defensive calls. Back is Clay. In the pocket, throwing near sideline, intended for McPherson over his head and incomplete. Clock stops with 10:25 left to go in this game. By the way, for the TCU Horned Frogs, they'll be returning home for their homecoming game next Saturday. 2 p.m. the kickoff at Amon Carter Stadium in Fort Worth. A beautiful place to watch some football. A brand new turf, by the way, they've got down at Amon Carter. And, of course, for the Canes, they're on the road at Blacksburg, Virginia against Virginia Tech next week in Big East play, and back with West Virginia on the 31st here at the Orange Bowl. Back to throw is Clay. Just as he gets it away, he is nailed. And back there doing the damage on him, he gets, first of all, Warren Sapp was one of the first people to reach him. And also Blythewood came up to make a stop as well, number 96.
Here we see them breaking down the pocket once again, and just as Clay steps up to throw the football, you see Warren Sapp comes in. Third down.
So a 3rd down play here for TCU. And they'll step off the penalty against Miami. That'll take the ball to the 48-yard line in Miami territory. So it's a 3rd down and roughly about 5 needed.
I'll tell you, Leon Clay not having the time to step up and throw the football might have been good for TCU because Paul White really had a beam on that, and he was stepping in front of the receiver for the interception.
Lone running back behind Clay. That is Michael Jackson as Clay's out to throw. Intended for the far sideline, trying to get the ball out to Woodley again. Richard can't catch up for that one as Pearson was out there along with Marley, the dropping linebacker. And TCU, that looked like they had something going again against the Canes, are thrown back at the 48-yard line in Miami territory and must punt the ball. Kordsman, who seems like he has been out there forever for TCU, will kick it away again for the Frogs.
But overall, he's done a fine job of pinning the Hurricanes back and not letting them get any good field position where they've had to go the distance.
Harris will be standing back at his 10 for Miami. Almost looked like it was going to be a fake there for a moment as Kordsman again hangs it high. Harris comes up. The ball is batted down right at the 25-yard line. Actually jumped up and inadvertently hit one of the players there. That is Schultz for TCU. After a 23-yard kick, bringing Kordsman's average down. It'll be Miami's ball at their own 25-yard line. You got to have a feeling that Acosta, after getting his first career touchdown for Miami, is quite confidently stepping into that huddle now for the Hurricanes. He gets ready to operate again here for his 3rd series.
Well, after the first series, he's a little dejected. He comes out the second series, 4 plays, touchdown. He's got to feel good, and he's got to be motivated.
Coretta threw 3 touchdown passes in the game. Acosta 1. Stephen McGuire's run for a pair. This is Marucci, Jason Marucci, who angles to the outside and gets it back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all. Let's go down to Joe Rose quickly. Joe?
Yeah, Sam, just over on the TCU side there, the big word from Coach Sullivan and his coaching staff is, guys, keep putting out the effort, especially the young guys. He's going to play the guys putting out the effort. He's not concerned whether they're a senior or a freshman. He's looking for guys just to put out that all-out effort.
Well, Sullivan, a 71 Heisman Trophy winner at Auburn, a 3-year starter, All-American in 70 and 71, and an academic All-American in 1972 at Auburn. The first-year man at TCU, Acosta, handoff straight up the middle. They try to get Jason Marucci some running room. Jason literally working hard for that room that he got up the middle. TCU reluctantly gives up some room as Patrick Conley makes the stop. Stop in the action here with 9:13 left to play as Thomas Thamer, the referee, comes to the near sideline to converse for a moment. Well, the Hurricanes obviously knew they wanted to come into this ball game, Nat, and wanted to put on a good show. A little rugged getting started. The intercept early by Evans against Torretta. The block field goal kind of said, oh, wait a minute, let's turn it back our way, and they did before halftime even.
Well, Miami came in today with the idea, and I keep saying this, the only thing Coach Erickson talks about in practice that I think is really important is that each week they must get better if they want to be the champions at the end of the year.
Acosta's
and today is what they're doing.
He's missed only one of his passes, and I tell you what, he and Chris Jones just a sophomore, could be one of the future leaders of this run and pass operation for the Miami Hurricanes. 11 yards to Jones. First down, Miami.
Here you see the official, they're trying to protect the players. Forward progress is stopped right here. They blow the whistle, even though Chris Jones keeps his feet moving and he comes out of there running.
Wanted a little more there, didn't he? 8.5 left to play. This is Ferguson. Ferguson that time could not quite make the cutback before Conley grabs him by the ankles. Young man, a senior out of Duncanville, number 53, 5'11", 210 for the Horned Frogs. Good look at Ferguson, who will trot out of there. Marucci will come back in for him at running back. Again, the Canes did not get the services of Kevin Williams, held out due to some injuries sustained in the Penn State game. He's been having some ankle and knee problems, and he'll be ready to go, they say, for Virginia Tech next week, but not playing today. Marucci, good sidestep move at the 45, and he noses it out to about the 48-yard line for Miami. It'll be short of a first down by 3.
Jason Marucci is really doing a good job of running with the football. He's noted more for being a blocking back on short yardage and special teams player. And, given the opportunity today, he's showing the coach, hey, coach, give me the ball. I would like to carry it, too.
Miami, by the way, in this 48-game winning streak at home, had 11 shutouts coming to this streak. Most points they've allowed has been 23 to Florida State. That back in 1986. Fewest points they've scored was that 8 points they scored for the win against Arizona. That scary one. Got 61 points, by the way, was their highest against, oh my, Texas Tech in 86. That's my alma mater. I hate to say that. Acosta trying to get Ferguson for some running room, and the crowd suddenly has turned into 42,917 coaches. From the Orange Bowl in beautiful Miami, as the lights start to twinkle on here in South Florida. And yes, this area is rebuilding after Hurricane Andrews, thanks to the many people all across the country that have really helped out. Here's the snap back to Snyder. Almost got it blocked again. Hickman that time watches it bound at the 2 and hops into the end zone. So Frank Costa, who had a touchdown pass on 3 of his series, could not get anything going, and now the defense will take over again as TCU will have it 1st and 10 at the 20. 6:25 to go in the game. 45-10 Miami. Back after this timeout.
There are times, Andy said, when it's best to play it safe.
Here for the swamp tour?
Especially when on safari in the Everglades. 14,000 square miles of alligators, snakes, and frogs that bite. So Andy suggested the great-tasting Old Milwaukee non-alcoholic. It's got to get better than this, I said, as Gil, our guide, took us butt cruising for the day. Good thing for a cold Old Mill N.A. There's enough exhilaration already in the Everglades. And hey, you don't want to end up as gator bait.
knowledge. The Discovery Channel. It's your world.
The Olive Garden's new Roman pasta holiday celebration will have everyone speaking fluent Italian. See for yourself when you taste our generous portions of ravioli and tonello, chicken and artichoke mostaccioli, spaghetti carbonara, and our emperor-sized Roman holiday platter. So come celebrate our Roman pasta holiday, where for just a few lira, you too can learn to speak a little Italian.
6:25 left to play here in the ball game. A 45-10 game with Miami, trying to indeed do two things. First of all, preserve their 23-game winning streak and their home streak at 48. But also maybe to try to impress a few people that might be the difference in being on top of both polls before the weekend is all over. They trail Washington in one and are on top in the coaches' poll. And again, even though Dennis Erickson did not say that he wanted to run up the score because of that, he's had a lot of young people. Frank Costa's come in and done a good job. You've seen Ferguson, Nath, he's just tried to play a lot of folks here today.
Well, it's a no-win situation. If you run the score up, everybody's going to talk bad about you across the country. But when you run the score up and you play as many people as Dennis Erickson has played today, no one can complain. You're talking about just a fine football team that knows how to win. And, you know, when you put that second and third team in there, you can't tell them don't score.
Max Naki will quarterback this series for TCU. Watkins with a carry for about one over the line of scrimmage. Let's go back down to Joe Rose. Joe?
Yeah, the big story down here right now is Sebastian the Ibis has just been dying to tell me about the big play. So here he is. He brought his own football and is going to throw the deep one for us. Just to let you guys know, the big play is back here at the University of Miami.
Fast track football, as they call it. And, hey, it was a touchdown. I agree. Sebastian the Ibis. I'll tell you what, this guy is everywhere on a football field, except between the hash marks, thank goodness. Naki with a second down and 9 for TCU. The fake to hold the linebackers, throws, and almost an intercept by Marley. And Rohan says, oh, that was 6 points.
If he'd have been able to get both hands on it, he only got one hand on that one. If he'd have got both of them, he'd have been in the end zone. You know, good coverage by Rohan Marley.
That's just one of the many who have filled in depth-wise at that linebacker core. Bass, Francis, and Marley. They've even added, of course, Ebers.
All right, here we see Naki going back, throwing it. Marley undercuts it, almost comes down with the interception. But what's amazing is just that speed. You know, you take out those first three guys, you put in the next three guys, and the speed is still there. So Miami has speed to burn.
Third down and 9. Naki throwing. This will be intercepted. This is Pearson. Pearson coming up with the football. He actually was knocked off his feet by his own man, Robert Bass. But Naki's pass intercepted, and Malcolm Pearson, the 6'1", 202 sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas, gets the big in.
This is just an overthrow here. He's getting a little pressure. He throws it early, trying to get the ball to Shipley, and Malcolm Pearson is there, and he comes with it, and then his own guy. You know, they're going to talk about this week. Robert Bass comes back and makes the tackle.
Robert's got to check the color of the jersey. 5.5 left to play. Getting handshakes all around is Pearson as he comes to the sideline after the intercept. Costa throwing to the far sideline. That is A.C. Tellison from Bay City, Texas, one of the 9 Texans on this Florida squad. Out of bounds after a gain of 5.
You know, a lot of people would complain about the Hurricanes throwing the football here, but that's their offense. They've got a lot of young guys in there now at offensive linemen with Ricky Perry, Jason Brodroni, and they got to get them some work as well. So, you know, Miami is just running their natural offense and still moving the football.
Costa looking over the defense. Frank again, just a sophomore. Heir apparent, hands it off to Ferguson, the freshman. He drops. No place to run there. Is a fine defensive play made up the middle of the defense here by TCU. Making the stop that time was number 89, again at his prior, and West. West has been all over this field today.
Well, we got Ferguson. He's got nowhere to run, and here you see Royal West coming in from the backside and making the tackle, and he comes close to stealing the football from Danielle Ferguson there.
So it's a loss of 2 on the play. Brings up a 3rd down, and there was a little rocking motion on the right-hand side, I think, from Lemelski of Miami, number 77, and the play is waved off. Clock is stopped with 4:40 to play in the game. And it goes against the Canes.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 3rd down.
So Frank Costa has a little bit more work to do here as they back it outside where the original line of scrimmage was. Brings up a 3rd down and 12. As again, Dennis Erickson making the calls from the sideline. You see number 22, Jason Marucci, who has been doing some running back chores along with Ferguson, the fine freshman. Spencer, Tellison, the 2 split receivers, right and left. Ferguson with a call. To the 30. May have enough for the 1st down as he knives down to about the 26, and he should have it.
Tackled by Brooks McCoy.
This is something that the Hurricanes have been missing in their offense so far this year, and that's speed on the corner, the ability to get outside. As you see, Ferguson just turns on those afterburners and picks up the 1st down. You know, his ability to stop and go is tremendous.
You know, they talked about Jones, the most valuable player in the Orange Bowl, maybe showing that kind of skill with a big driving power inside. But certainly Ferguson does definitely have that outside strength. There's Marucci. And a fine defensive play made that time by Jackson. You may recall he was shaken up earlier in the game for TCU, but makes a head-on collision that time with Marucci.
Well, they're trying to run into the boundary here, and you see Jason Marucci coming outside. Jackson comes up and makes the tackle.
By the way, Ferguson, who is on the bench and now comes back in to be the lone running back behind Costa, has already gained 80 yards on 11 carries today. 2nd down, 12 for Miami. 3:25 in the game. Ferguson just looking for the hole, biding his time well. And it's going to gain around 4 yards on the play as he gets it inside the 25. They spot it at the 24.
You know, Sam, that's something that's very impressive about the young back. You know, most young backs, you know, they're very anxious. They hit the hole instead of taking their time and reading and then cutting back or hitting the hole. And he's doing a good job, and you can see why they have such high hopes for this kid. He does a good job here. He's just waiting, reading. Now he knows he's got to go north and south. He puts his head down, he goes.
Good look at him as he comes to the sideline. Good look at Frank Costa as he looks over that defense and hands off to Jason Marucci. Marucci on a 3rd down play will get only 2. Ferguson's trotting back in on a 4th down play, so the Canes will be going for it rather than trying a lengthy field goal here with a wind at the back of Pruitt. They're going to go ahead and go on the 4th down play. And that will probably signal you the idea that Miami, not that they're trying to run up the score, they've got maybe an opportunity to score 3. They're just going to try to get a 1st down here. Sure, they may score later, but just letting them play.
I mean, they're just trying to run the clock out, you know, and no matter what anybody feels, you know, this is the class thing to do. And, you know, the University of Miami's head coach, Dennis Erickson, is a very class guy. You know, he's not as concerned with the ratings if he has to embarrass another ball club that's less superior.
Ferguson stopped by Roy on that 4th down play, and TCU will take over the football at the 24-yard line.
TCU football.
So as some of the fresh faces come off the field for Miami, you know that the film sessions will be rather interesting over the next week as they get ready for the Hokies of Virginia Tech. As some of these youngsters hope they get another opportunity to play next week for Coach Erickson in Blacksburg, Virginia. 12 noon kickoff, by the way, in Blacksburg. Clay is back in for TCU. Motkins, the running back. Gain of 2 outside the 25. They'll spot at 26-yard line. Clock stops momentarily at 1:50. Officials discuss a flag which is thrown way across the field on the other side.
The game was 2.
Personal foul on Miami. 45-10 lead by the Canes over the Horned Frogs of TCU.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, automatic 1st down.
So as they step off the 15-yard penalty, TCU brings Woodley back in the ball game with a play to Clay. Dennis Erickson looking as if he is a man without his headsets and wants this to get over. Looks his assistant head coach, that is Greg Smith, to his right, and also Rich Olson, Olson, the quarterback coach. Greg Smith was to his backside there, kind of looking onto some of the offensive linemen. 1st and 10, TCU, 40-yard line. Clay scrambling out, cannot get it to Woodley.
Plays pass for Woodley.
Blythewood again, the man in pursuit there of Clay. You know, Clay does show, as you pointed out, Nat, he does show the young man, he's got some scrambling ability, throws the ball reasonably well.
Good scrambling ability, and he has the ability to get outside of the containment so that he can throw the ball downfield. I'd like to see him a little bit more once he get outside to stop and set his feet, and I think he'll be a little more accurate with his tosses.
Again, only making 15 starts in his entire career as a senior. Back throwing, this time he goes to Nowak once again, knocked off his feet at the 45.
Throws complete to Nowak.
And making the stop for Miami is Willie Phillips. For the Canes, it'll be a 3rd down, and they'll need roughly, well, they need 5 for the 1st down. Under a minute now to go here in the 4th and final quarter at the Orange Bowl in Miami. So for the 12th consecutive time, the Canes will defeat a Southwest Conference team and will up their advantage to 6-3 with the Horned Frogs of TCU. Clay to Woodley, showing you some of that speed in the open field, runs out of bounds. Good shots taken to the sideline all around. It looked like it was Greg Smith again. He's again all over the place. Again, the assistant head coach, and a flag apparently is down again. Yes, there is.
I think that's against the University of Miami, hitting a little late, hitting the receiver Woodley after he'd stepped out of bounds.
Okay, Mike just told him in the headset. Dead ball, personal foul, defense, automatic 1st down.
So TCU may be marching to a closing score with 40 seconds to play, and they've had a couple of opportunities handed to them here by this defense, young as it may be for the Canes. A couple of personal foul penalties. Clock stops at 40, 45-10 the score, and again Clay in the driver's seat. Watkins, the lone running back. They have not been able to get the ball to one of their key receivers, and that's Stephen Shipley tonight, number 87. Let's see if they look for him here. They do. They're throwing over the middle, intended for Nowak. There's another flag down. Play that time getting some big pursuit again by Robert Bass, number 59. And now the Canes are caught for still another infraction here.
Offside, defense, 2nd down. 1st down.
And the Miami coach is just shaking their heads. Fellas, we got to get this thing over with.
Yeah, they've got to be upset. You know, they've played well up to this point. You get the last drive, you're trying to run the clock out, and then you give up 35 yards in penalties. All you want to do is keep the clock rolling.
Miami, interesting enough, Andrew Osofsky, our statistician of note tonight, along with part-time spotter. 14 penalties for 127 yards against Miami. Play. Near sideline. It's going to be incomplete on the dirt. Trying to pick it up over there is one of their receivers. That is going to be Mike Houston, number 9, from Lamarck, Texas, a junior, but the pass was thrown just short. 28 seconds to go in the game. In TCU back home, homecoming next week, 2 o'clock at Amon Carter against the Rice Owls, whose program has turned around nicely, thank you. And of course, the Canes will head to Blacksburg, Virginia against the Hokies of Virginia Tech in Big East Conference play. Way back, angling to the end zone. It's up for grabs, and it's out of the reach. And incomplete. Back there, Chad Wilson, number 9, and number 9, Houston, for TCU battle for the ball.
Well, Chad Wilson just does a good job of pushing the receiver to the sideline, not giving him a chance to catch the ball inbounds on that particular play there.
3rd down and 5 yards to go for Leon Clay. Clay has thrown a touchdown pass here tonight, which means that he has come another step closer, 11 away from the legendary Sammy Ball's 44 touchdowns. Slinging Sammy back in the 30 for the Horned Frogs of TCU. He's trying for another one. This time there is contact at the goal line, and Pearson colliding with Woodley, and they both go down, and the interference is called. Stopping the clock with 12 seconds left to play. You saw, of course, some early contact that was not called when Rand and Copeland collided. Let's check the referee call.
Pass interference, defense, first down.
Mr. Thamer making the call, first down.
Here you got Woodley trying to come out on a corner route, and he runs into Pearson here, and the officials got to call that.
So TCU will have 12 seconds left to see what they can do. They're down 45-10 before this one's over. We're going to pause for this commercial timeout. We'll be right back to the Orange Bowl after this timeout.
Virginia Tech next Saturday on Sunshine Network.
Hey, Magic fans, slam your way into a new season with stuff from the Orlando Magic and a super souvenir value. Celebrate the new season with some neat stuff from Stuff and His Friends. For $19.95 plus handling, you can collect a stuffed doll and an official embroidered Magic cap, or a cap and a t-shirt in either black or white, all for under 20 bucks. Call 1-800-762-7900 or write to Sunshine Network and tip off the new season with a super Magic souvenir.
1991 Miami Hurricanes fought their way to an undefeated season. Now, here's your chance to relive all the Canes classic games in the home video that chronicles their march to college football's national championship. Miami Hurricane Football 1991, King of the Hill, takes you from the home opener against Houston to the Orange Bowl victory against Nebraska. You'll see it all. King of the Hill can be yours for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. To order, call 1-800-526-8927 today. All major credit cards accepted.
Here, a pass that was completed to Jackson at the near goal line. He stopped at the 2-yard line with that 45-10 score.
Here you see Leon Clay. He does a good job of staying in the pocket, and he hits Michael Jackson here down at the 2-yard line to give him a chance to go in right before the end of the ball game. We've got 1 second left on the clock, and it's giving them opportunity to maybe get a score and the lead here with the heads up high.
1 second to go in this ball game. You saw a quick look at Leon Clay and Pat Sullivan. Pat, the first-year coach for TCU's Horned Frogs, 1-3-1 coming today. Of course, the Canes picking up their 6th consecutive win of this season. Their 24th in a row, longest in NCAA current play, and their 49th in a row at home. 57, the record set by the Crimson Tide of Alabama. The wins at home.
What do you think? A play-action pass here, Sam?
Got to throw it. 1 second, last play of the ball game. Look for Oliver. He's across the middle. They throw to Nowak. It's incomplete. No, it's intercepted. The ball intercepted in the end zone after it's skipped off the hands of the intended receiver Nowak, and Marcus Carey comes up with the intercept for the Canes in the end zone, and the ball game is over. Much to the happiness of Coach Dennis Erickson, who thought this thing would never end tonight. He and Pat Sullivan with their handshakes in the middle of the field. Erickson, his ball club, walk off. Again, 45-10. They did what they had to do here today in the Orange Bowl, Matt.
They won convincingly without trying to run the score up. They were able to get their running game going again today. They were able to get the passing game going after coming off a miserable week in Penn State without being able to throw the football.
We'll be back after this timeout. Again, Miami 45-10 over TCU. A much relieved head coach Dennis Erickson down on the field with Joe Rose.
Thank you very much, Sam. Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you. It was a real good win for us. We played well on both sides of the football and got to play a lot of different guys, and got the big play back in the offense, and it was nice to see us operate like that on offense.
Talking to you yesterday, you felt your team was ready to play even though you've had 2 tough games.
Well, we did. We know what we've got to do to stay where we're at. We knew that we have to improve on offense to continue to get better. That's the biggest thing in this football team. We got games down the road where we're going to have to play better than we did last week to win it. And so we've got to improve on offense. And so our goal going into was to play better on offense, and we played extremely well.
Danielle Ferguson played a lot in the second half and really had an outstanding game.
Well, he had some speed to us that we haven't had. And had we played those other 2 teams a little later, he probably would have saw a lot of action. But now he's playing quite a bit, and it's nice to have him in there because he can give us some things.
Coach, a lot of people are going to ask if you would have won today 13-10 or 16-10, you might have dropped down to number 2. You win 45-10. Is this a message?
Well, I mean, we won 45-10, but we didn't play any of our guys in the fourth quarter at all, and we ran the ball at the end of the game, and we won decisively. That's all that matters.
Okay, congratulations, Coach. Thank you very much. Back up to you, Sam.
Thank you, Joe. One of the numbers I know Coach Erickson's going to be very happy to see when this is all over. Almost 600 yards in offense today as his Canes run all over the Frogs for the score of 45-10. More from the Orange Bowl in Miami after this timeout. Orange Bowl is just a shade over 42,000 fans have filed out as the Hurricanes defeat the Horned Frogs with a score of 45-10. Well, a passing game that sputtered against Penn State despite a win last week. Only 80 yards tonight, 350 alone by Gino Toretta. The passing game certainly a big key tonight.
A big turnaround from last week where they were able to get the passing game going, continue to improve on the running game. They showed that they can move the ball offensively.
Well, they did indeed, and the defense holds off TCU even though they give up 10 points tonight. Joe Rose has been down on the field all night long. Let's get his final comments. Joe?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the two phrases sum this whole thing up. First, no emotional letdown for the University of Miami, and second, the big play was back. I think that pretty much sums it up from down here.
Thank you, Joe. Of course, the road ahead for Miami goes on the road as we take a look at the remaining schedule for both of these ball clubs. And, of course, for TCU, they'll head back home. For the Hurricanes, they head for Virginia Tech. That'll be next Saturday. Then they come home the 31st against West Virginia Temple and then close it on the road at Syracuse and at San Diego State. For TCU, they've got a homecoming battle, 2 o'clock next week against Rice, a road game at Houston, and then look at the home games with Texas, Texas Tech, and Texas A&M. All will be very tough, but again, the Horned Frogs with an opportunity to try to win some games at home. Well, our final score once again from the Orange Bowl. The Miami Hurricanes 45, the TCU Horned Frogs 10. So the Hurricanes again with a big win. For Nat Moore, Joe Rose, Sam Smith, thanks and good night, everybody from Miami.